Hello, and welcome to Destiny Community Podcast.
What makes your guardians worthy of the light?
I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
It's just past 6 and we waiting on Patrick, cause Holtzmann's always getting stuck in traffic. Missed by 1,000 watts, hitting headshots, whether in PvP or on the dreadnought. Minions of the darkness, what you gonna do when Teft hits you with this midnight coup? Briar Rabbit, he just wants a bigger vault, end-to-end Eververse and an all-out assault. Poke Bear's blessing Cubs at his day job, jumps on the podcast and mispronounced twab. When it comes to Destiny, forget what you heard, cause the DCP crew will always be the last word, either in a raid or Trials of the Nine. DCP is flawless, let them blow your mind. Tune in every Thursday sometime around 6. That's Teft's channel, streaming on Twitch.
It is alive.
We can save the traveler.
I have shown you benevolence, Guardian.
I am a god.
We haven't got much time.
Grace me with your light.
Hello, and welcome to the 72nd. Got it. Right? Yeah.
You got it, man.
Got it this time. 72nd episode of the Destiny Community Podcast, brought to you by Scuff Gaming Controllers. Use code DCP at checkout. Save money and stuff on it. It's great.
Yeah.
And you support the podcast by doing that. Yeah.
Start out a Crucible god.
Start out with the shilling hard this week. Hope everyone's doing well. Briar is not here this week. He had some personal matters to attend to, but don't worry. Our guest this week, Fallout, has taken up the charge, and he has grown a beard in a record amount of time.
I got to tell you, it looks good.
It's looking good.
It looks good.
It looks fabulous.
I'm very impressed by the color difference to your hair. The fact that your body can do that is
Who
pretty
knew?
amazing.
That actually does happen.
But this is amazing right here.
For our audio listeners, let me describe what I'm looking at. Most people know Fallout as sort of a baby-faced gentleman. He is famous for having my beard glued to his face at GuardianCon last year, but he's since trained his beard to grow a lush growth of, I'd say, 4 or 5. I mean, this is amazing. You're looking better than Briar's homeless beard.
It's Briar level beard.
I mean,
it's great.
It was like Tuesday night, and I was like, you know what? What if I don't shave tonight? That's what I thought. So
this is one night.
Come on.
Oh, that's great.
This is great, man. This is awesome.
I hope you're okay with the fact that you're probably getting beard cancer now, because there's no way you can naturally grow that strong of a beard in that short of an amount of time.
Of course there is.
Obviously, you haven't.
He has an evolved genetic code for beard.
All right.
Beard
also,
growth.
what is beard cancer?
Some people get Wolverine healing powers. Some people psychokinetic stuff.
It's probably from a flesh beard.
Yeah,
that's how you get the tumor in the fleshy beard.
All right. Well, before we go any further, let me talk about our intro. Before we started, we played a intro music from one of our listeners. He reached out to me on Twitter, and his name is Big Fletch, and he said, "Hey, I love the show, and I'd love to, put together an intro." And I love it when our fans reach out to us and just, we got so many creative people in the community. I posted his Twitter in the description of the in the chat, but will also put it in the description of the show. Make sure to go give him some love. He's a talented guy, has a lot of great projects that he's working on. And you know what? I just love people that are willing to he's like, I just want to put some time together and put something together for you guys. So I really appreciate that.
That was really good.
Yeah, it was great.
Ash, the woman who does all of our art. I mean, she was a fan who just reached out and started drawing pictures of us.
And you know, that's funny. That's true. And then like after a while, she came on as a partner, and it's just, I don't know.
Nick, Nick, our audio editor. Hi, Nick. Don't do anything weird to my audio. Right there when I said it. Please don't do it. Wink, wink. Yeah, he was a fan who reached out when I was asking for a video editor, and instead we got an audio editor.
Yay!
There we go.
Awesome.
That's right.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Big Fletch. He made it for us a couple weeks ago. I was out sick, and I just totally dropped the ball on it. I know it was a labor of love for him, so I wanted to thank him and say I really appreciated it. It came out wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, great job. It was awesome.
He's in chat. Thanks, Big Fletch, man. He's a good guy. Show him some love.
All right. So this week, Crimson Doubles came in. Oh, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself here. We have to interview our guest.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
Look, let me rephrase that. We don't have to interview our guests.
Don't have to.
We have been honored to be joined this evening by FalloutPlays, who has been part of this community for a long time. He started way back when making Destiny videos and has been on the YouTube grind for some time. I've known about you for a while, but I look at your channel and I don't think it gets as much love as I really think it deserves. So I just want everybody who's listening right now to go to YouTube, look up FalloutPlays, and subscribe to him. His stuff is top quality. Where did you like start your YouTube channel, Fallout? Is it with Destiny, or did you start out before with
Actually, it was with Halo. Mm-hmm. I was a really big Halo guy, and then they were going to make the Master Chief Collection, which included, Halo 1, Halo 2, all the classics.
Yeah. Sure.
And I had actually seen, I think I saw a video by Dado. This was like way back when I think Destiny was in the alpha stage. And Dado was just starting to talk about Destiny. And I think I watched his video about like he wanted hand cannons to be better or something. And I was just like,
yeah, I remember that one.
And we're still having that conversation.
They're never good at
fascinating. Things never change. But yeah, so I saw that video. I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like I know a lot about Halo, and I wanted to make a video to help my friends out, who a lot of them had started with like Halo 3 or Halo Reach or whatever. So I actually reached out to Dado on Reddit, and I asked him advice on how he made videos and yada yada. He gave me a lot of great advice. So I made a Halo video, tips and tricks for Halo 1, and it was really well received. And I was like, wow, you know what? I could do more of this. And I did Halo 2, but then Destiny came out. Instantly fell in love with that game because it's just great. And then I've been kind of doing the grind ever since. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I have a very boring 9-to-5 job, but I try to put as much work into it as I can. It's a lot of fun. I just love being a part of a gaming community. I really feel like a part of it. It's something very special. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I feel like that connection. There's a lot of the content creators who got started with Destiny. I feel like we are connected and bonded in that way. Mm-hmm. I wanted to talk to you about the how you go about your content, because one thing that I really enjoy and appreciate about your videos is you have a way of describing complicated things in a very not simple, but in a way that is easily understood. And is that something that is that something that comes naturally? Like you do a lot of like detail oriented work, but then your graphics and the stuff that you put up, it just seems like I feel like I leave the video understanding more about it. And I guess that's ultimately the goal. But can you walk us through that process of like how do you decide on a video? What excites you, interests you as a creator?
Well, these days it's kind of like when new stuff comes out and it's either it just interests me personally or it's relatively vague, or I got to be honest, if somebody like tweets at me, sometimes people will tweet at me like, what does this mean? And I'm like, I don't know what that means. Let's find out. It's because I'm curious, Yeah. But it originally happened when playing Destiny 1, like you do.
Yeah.
And I wanted to learn more about the subclass because, God, I love Bungie. But they can be so vague with the skill tree. And I understand why you don't want to hit people over the head with too much information. But you look at the skill tree and you read something.
You don't like those little sliding bars and no numbers and stuff like that?
Yeah, right. You just read something on the D1
provides
skill
more
tree.
damage.
Yeah,
you're like,
what does that mean? Yeah, and I'm
damage?
like, I know. I'll look it up on YouTube because those people are super informed. And I would watch a video and it's like some guy would give a guide to a subclass.
It's
and
okay. You can name me.
No, you are far from that.
Patrick, kid, what the hell's he talking about?
Patrick also is one of those guys that got his name from detail-oriented work. Your videos remind me, like your work on armor and classes and abilities reminds me of the work that Patrick has done with guns and those interrelated perks that we had in D1.
That's true. Patrick's actually a pretty big inspiration for my channel and stuff. So he's a good guy up there. But so I was listening to these videos right when Destiny came out, and people were like, "Oh, here's my guide. I'm gonna help you understand." And I'm like, "This guy is just reading what's on the skill tree. He doesn't help." So I'm like, "I'm gonna figure it out myself." But it was really hard because back in early D1, didn't have custom games. So I had to go in back when you were allowed to go into Rumble. Back when we had Rumble, and you could go into Rumble with, people on your friends list.
The commitment level was high. Yeah.
It was high.
It wasn't just going to Rumble. It was let's all queue up into the Rumble list together, and then hopefully some of us will be in the same game, and we'll be able to do some sort of testing.
Oh, crazy! And my girlfriend and I would be like, "All right, we're gonna go hide way in the back of Shores of Time." I'm like, "Okay, let me hit you with a fireball grenade. Okay, that's good. Let me hit you with the melee. Oh God, we got killed. I didn't count all the tick damage. All right, meet me on the other side of the Shores of Time. I gotta hit you with a melee. All right, let's go." And I would just get all that information.
Yeah.
And I just know how important it is for new players who are really trying to understand something for the first time. It's very difficult. So I'm trying to just break it down in a way that anybody can understand. You can walk away and being like, you know what? I feel like I have a better idea of what that means, whatever that is.
Yeah. And it's like one of the things that I was having. I remember one of the videos you made. It was dealing with shotgun damage at range, right? And it always is, as a PvP player. There's some people that are just naturally gifted at judging distance and then they play a lot and they can figure out when to shoot and what do those perks mean and how to. I felt like I was always confused about how to set up a perfect shotgun. So I was always looking and counting on somebody else to tell me what to do. And here's the difference. I feel like your videos they teach you how to fish instead of giving you a fish, right? And I love that about it. I as a teacher, it's the reason why when I posted, your some of the best videos on YouTube, and I meant it. And I don't want to blow smoke up your ass here. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying that I really appreciate content creators that take the time to educate the community instead of simply giving them the answers. And so, and you also branched out to Twitch too, right? You stream?
I do. 4 nights a week.
Nice.
Which nights?
Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
From when to when?
Well, Friday and Monday is nighttime, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then Saturday is noon Eastern, and Sunday is 3 p.m. Eastern. Kind of all over the place. Sorry about that.
In the afternoon.
Yeah.
In the
afternoon.
Do you run a pretty consistent schedule, or do you, some days it might be a little bit earlier, it might be a little bit later, depending on what's going on?
It's always that.
Is it? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, always.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, pretty much. Trying really hard to get Twitch partnered. Super difficult. Working
so
my butt off.
If you're listening to this, make sure to jump in, give Fallout a follow so that he can get that partner. You usually play. What do you play? What are they going to watch?
I do usually on the weekends. I try to pick 1 or 2 days to do trials carries for D2.
Which I'm sorry.
Struggle's real, buddy. Struggle's real.
Hey,
now,
what
let me
if
ask
it's
you.
burnout? If it's burnout this weekend,
Oh yeah,
I
let's
hope it
go.
is.
that'll be exciting.
Do you do like when you do trials carries or whatever? Are you with D2? Are you running 3 with 1 carry? Are you doing double carries? I've heard a lot of people are having with this meta are having a very difficult time doing like double carries and stuff like that.
I got to say, thankfully, I have really talented carry partners that do it with me. So usually, the protocol is we will begin with a double. And usually that goes pretty well, depending on the map, depending on how much caffeine I have in my body. And then if we start to get into a little bit of trouble, maybe we'll bring in another Sherpa friend. We're having like a rough card or something like that, and then we'll do the triple carry. But we usually start off with the double carry. So
cool. Yeah,
and it's always nice to do those paid account recoveries. I get it. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, you don't. They're you come in and you get a chance to raffle. It's a free trials carries and they're equal. So
there you go.
That's awesome. So we've got a lot of conversations really are happening. One of the reasons why I was excited to have you on the show is because we're hearing more from the Sandbox team, and your work with understanding the Sandbox in D1 and D2 is going to come in very handy in the next conversation when we start breaking down what the Sandbox team is starting to open up and show us, and then as well as what we are hoping to see from that from the roadmap and how the big update that's happening later is going to apply. So we're learning some of the information and maybe gleaming what else we're going to see from that. So thank you very much for coming on, and I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this conversation. And you want to get into it,
Patrick?
That's right.
Over to you.
Let's get it.
So yeah, this week Crimson Days. I feel like I've said that before. Crimson Days came out, and I don't want to.
Yes, it did.
Hold on. Sorry, I have to go back. Pope, you used the phrase "blow smoke up your ass" earlier.
Yeah, I did.
Do you know what that? Do you know the story behind that?
Oh, we're getting it.
Why do I
already
feel
story
like?
time?
Why do I feel like I don't
story
want
time?
to-
Let's go.
I feel like I'm being baited right now.
Is this Patrick's life?
I honestly, Patrick, I know it's a saying that people say, have said often. I've heard my parents say it, so I'm sure it's kind of old school.
It is.
All right, and so I do not know the etymology of blow
the
smoke
phrase
up your ass.
of the phrase.
The origin story.
It is
The
it
origin.
is a-
Sorry. Yeah.
It is a literal phrase. Well, kind of, whatever. Basically, it. When someone's drowning, and what we do now is, CPR, stuff like that, because they haven't been breathing. Well, it was thought that literally blowing smoke up someone's ass would cure them from drowning. So they had like bellows kits with like pitch and stuff to burn to create smoke to then get bellows to blow smoke up someone's ass. So like that was an actual thing. That was back,
They literally blew smoke up people's ass in hopes to save their life.
Wow.
Man.
How did that then get translated from?
Yeah.
Well, because people then found out that, oh, this actually doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's useless, right? Yeah.
This is useless. And so
useless to blow smoke up someone's ass when they're dying.
I don't mean to blow smoke up your ass. As in, like, I'm not meaning to just do something.
Well, I said it properly. No,
Yeah,
I
know what you say. I know you said it properly. I'm wondering how the translation went from doing that to try and
they
save
found out
something.
they found that it didn't do anything. So, I'm not trying to, feed you a line.
Right. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not trying to kiss your ass. Like,
Right.
thing.
I'm not trying to give you a false cure, a placebo, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I had to
strange-
say that because it's an interesting story.
whatever.
Anyway.
Fallout, I just want you to know that I was not trying to revive you from drowning by putting a bellows of smoke up your butt.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Good.
Not that he wouldn't try to revive you if you were drowning.
If you need, totally.
But he wouldn't use that.
If you're drowning, I would go get the bellow.
Right.
I wasn't trying to do
anything
that
okay?
then, right? I wasn't doing that right now. But if you needed it, I would totally do it.
I would appreciate that.
If it did in fact work,
flavored tobacco.
and actually,
right?
yeah,
Let's get that little.
a little flavoring down there.
Smoke. Do we know the type?
Yeah,
of smoke?
is it like wood smoke or tobacco?
I don't know the type
Cedar?
of smoke, but I totally bet
Probably
that there was like
cedar, yeah.
different types of smoke. Like, we have. How would you like your significant other to possibly be saved? We have the standard, just simple cedar wood package, or we can go for the luxury hash mix with some redwood fibers thrown in there as well.
Sure.
Wouldn't that be weird to just stumble upon somebody in the forest and be like, "What are you? Oh, you're trying to save their life.
I'm trying to save this man's life.
Oh, got it.
You walk up and there's somebody who's like, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. And then you're like, oh,
He's dying.
I wonder if they thought that it would work because they're trying to push the water back up out the body. So they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, the lungs are probably
Yep.
connected to the bud.
all right. For
Clearly.
all of you who are
Clearly.
new to the channel, we don't often talk about
Butt stuff.
We
butt
do.
stuff so early in the podcast. That's usually later.
Yeah,
Usually at the end.
it's a good hour and a half later.
But Patrick doesn't.
I don't abide by the rules.
He is a.
I'm a loose cannon.
He is a loose cannon.
Literally.
Rear resuscitation.
Rear resuscitation. So we also have a bunch of new
Technical term.
listeners or new people here tonight because at some time during the podcast, if you haven't already, make sure to go jump on the Destiny Pod Twitter and retweet the Scuff Gaming Controller giveaway tonight. Right at the end of the show, when we're signing off, we're going to be running a drawing for a Scuff controller. So we'll be giving away a. Actually, this is an Impact controller, a custom one that I ordered, but you will be literally given a link where you go to the Scuff website and you pick all the options. There's like 15 different options. You create the one you want. You send that to me in a DM, and I will have it sent out to you in a week. So make sure you retweet that and follow the Destiny Compod account, and so that you're eligible to win tonight.
Guaranteed ELO increase with that controller.
Oh yeah,
Guaranteed.
definitely.
Overnight
Definitely.
Overnight
I
pro.
mean, and essentially the reason why this used to be a protected, like they didn't advertise this, is because you could basically get this and then the next day sign your MLG contract.
Mhm.
It was that
There weren't enough
It's
MLG
considered-
teams to go around.
yeah.
Yep.
And so people really like held it in and they didn't talk about it.
Yep.
Yep.
But it's now out in the open.
Anyway,
International, it doesn't matter, guys.
third time's the charm. Third time's the charm. Crimson doubles.
How
Yeah.
about
This
it?
week. Yeah.
Crimson Doves.
Does anyone know the phrase, the saying behind third time's the charm? No? Okay.
Let's go into that story.
Yeah.
It actually involves blowing smoke up someone's butt.
Ironically, yes.
Couldn't think.
Third time's a charm.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
If you can't
The
revive-
smoke works on the third time.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's it. That's it.
All right. Well, we I want to say that this is the most fun I've had in PvP since Destiny 2 launched. This has been fun for me. So
Since Destiny 2 launched.
Yes.
Even better than Mayhem?
That's a big
Even
statement.
better than Mayhem. I want to tell you that I played a obscene amount of
An
of
obscene
2v2.
casual amount.
No, I played an obscene amount of 2v2 in Call of Duty. I love the
Okay.
2v2 game mode. I that tactically it fits into my play style. And when I jumped into 2v2 Crimson Devils, I was like, I'm at home, right? Loved it. I did enjoy Mayhem, but this spoke to me more than any of the others.
Nice.
How did you guys feel?
I've really enjoyed it. I did it. I got to play for about 3 or 4 hours yesterday on stream. Went in with my girlfriend, and we did a proper Crimson Doubles experience, and just killed a bunch of people. It's great. Yeah. No. I like the abilities regening quicker. I like the things popping up being able to see where people are if they spread apart, and then both of you can just boom, just rush them. She was a golden gun hunter. I was a Night Stalker hunter, and it was a
so if you guys don't know what Crimson Doubles is, you haven't paid attention to it. It's
no. Let Fallout explain what it is.
Yeah,
because
Fallout,
he's the guy that does it.
is.
Okay.
Explain it to us in a way that even Patrick
spot.
can understand.
Oh God, the pressure. Okay. It's a 2v2 playlist, and it's called, I think it was labeled as Clash, but that's a lie. It's not Clash. It's actually more closer to Trials Survival. All right, there's multiple rounds. When the timer goes down on the round, whichever team has more kills will win that round. I think if you get 3 wins, you win the whole game. Bada bing, bada boom. And you are encouraged to be near your doubles partner, because if you're near your doubles partner, as Watts has mentioned in the Twitch chat, your abilities will respawn very fast.
Very fast.
Very fast.
Very fast.
Almost obnoxiously fast.
You don't even just
Accurate term.
The hunter class ability recharges so quick that it doesn't properly go boop up. It just goes up in chunks, and then it's
Then you throw another thing on the map that says someone else is somewhere else.
Yeah, if you're away from your partner, you will be identified on your enemy's HUD with a waypoint right above your head, so they know exactly where you are.
Now, I before we get into this, I really wish I saw this recommendation on Twitter, and it just really struck me as something that would have made it interesting. Right now, the meta is sort of the hand on the cheek, the one hand on the cheek, butt cheek, and the other hand on your gun meta, right? That's the kind of the meme and the joke. You have to, and this play style,
reality.
It's no meme. It is a reality.
No smoke blowing up the butt.
There is no smoke, just your hand. And so one of the things that I thought that got me thinking about this is somebody mentioned it on Twitter to me, is that it should have actually been reversed. That if you were together, your abilities generated and you were identified, but then if you split apart, you wouldn't be. And then your abilities, you would actually, the movement speed would be increased. I thought that it would be better to. Well, I don't like the highlighting separating. I wanted.
There's some major flaws with it.
Yes,
I experienced a round where somebody left, and then that whole round, that whole game, then they could see where I'm at any given time, and I got no ability recharges.
Oh God!
Excessively punishing.
That's the worst case scenario.
Excessively punishing for people who queue in solo, and then somebody leaves after the first round, and then I played the whole rest of the game that way, and I was like, really? They didn't consider this? Not even a smidgen that this might happen, and then suddenly you're targeted on the whole map.
There, yeah.
The reason they probably didn't do that is it's really easy to get it into your head that being next to my partner equals good things happen, like my abilities recharge. Being away from them, bad or not good things.
Not a crimson double.
It's a very simple concept to
be a crimson double.
I get it.
Still be a crimson double
already.
I wanted some sort of benefit to a flanking maneuver.
You know what they could have done? They could have made it Crimson Doubles. Instead, call it Single Ladies, the buff, seeing as they have that dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then being separated actually makes your abilities recharge faster. So then they could see what it's like to play in a sandbox that has high refresh rate, and being separated and flanking and see how that goes.
That's interesting.
Oh my God.
Single ladies.
Or
Happy singles awareness.
Love it.
Single lady buff.
You could combine them. It'll be like altering rounds. You got one team that's attacking, one team that's defending, one team the single ladies, other team the couple. And then so like one team's having to play separate, the other team's having to play together, then it flips.
That would be very interesting.
That would have been really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be confusing at all.
So before we go theory crafting on how it could be better,
sure.
Watts, how did you feel about it?
I played 2 games and I was like, okay, it's kind of fun. And then came the inevitable skip grenade spam or arc bolt spam where they just throw boom, boom, you're dead. Boom, boom, you're dead. And any kind of situation where you had someone or 2 people with 2 grenades that recharged very quickly it just became, let's just stare at each other and throw grenades at each other and see
my
who gets
God.
hit first. So it was just kind of no interaction between the two teams. It was just throwing grenades, which got old really, really fast.
Throwing grenades is interaction.
No. No. I don't even get to see them. I just see that grenade. I
I'm
don't
confused,
see the
guys.
person.
I'm
I don't
confused.
shoot them.
So why is it just because the Sandbox update isn't in place for? Okay, we're asking Bungie to increase our abilities.
Yeah, but Pope, you like, there's no way to 2v1 or 1v2 somebody right now. And this Sandbox, like, what they've done with this mode, it makes it even harder to 1v2 somebody. So, like,
I totally disagree. I was playing.
Really?
I played. Yes.
when they
totally disagree.
if you even kill one of their teammates, their buddy gets an immediate buff, or it gets immediately recharge a grenade recharge,
Their health comes back.
and their health immediately comes back.
I understand.
You're
I
telling
understand,
me
but here-
you can 1v2.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you that I could bring up my stats, and I
feel
got
like
a lot of.
you
I
have a
got
billow
lot.
in my butt right now, and you're actively blowing smoke up it.
No. So here's why I thought it was good. Mainly because if you're in an individual, if your teammate's down and you're by yourself, right, and you're on a 1v2 situation, right, you've now got your health and grenade back, and you can take on those two players with your grenades, with your abilities. I was taking on the other team. I think the problem with the meta right now is the 1v2 like scenario is that you don't have your ability up, you don't have your melee, you don't have your grenade. It's the recharge rate is so slow that when you go up for a 1v2, you don't have your way at your entry point into that 1v2 scenario.
Pope, I'm going to go ahead and throw you a life preserver here, buddy.
I don't need one, but go ahead.
God, what a baller. Yeah, I understand that Crimson doubles. I think we can agree, not perfect. You go in, it's, again, there is ability spam, right? It doesn't encourage things like flanking, which I enjoy. It, encourages, hand on the booty with your teammate, very specific play style. That being said, though, I did actually very much enjoy it. I really did like it. It's got some work to do, I think. And what you mentioned earlier, where it might be confusing for Bungie, all the mixed signals, because we're like, oh man, there's like no ability usage in this game, and it's all team shotting and blah, blah, blah. And then they give us more abilities, and now we're like, oh god, it's too much. There's spam everywhere. So we haven't hit that sweet spot just yet. I do wish they had tuned very specifically certain things like the hunter dodge, very easy to abuse Gemini gestures, very easy to abuse Shinobu's vow. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, if you just take the game type for what it is, which it was just for me, I just thought, hey, this is going to be a fun thing. I'm going to play it with my girlfriend. It's like mini mayhem. You know what I mean? Mini mayhem. The one thing that I did really enjoy about Crimson Doubles is that the team shotting was much less of a factor, because when I'm playing Trials, trying to get some person who's never gone to the Spire, it's really kind of frustrating. You poke out, hey, I just got hit by 4 Mida multi-tools in the face at the same time. That was fun. But now you only have to worry about 2 people, not 4. So if I'm trying to go for that aggressive push, I don't have to worry about, is there some schmuck over there by, territory B, just waiting behind a corner to give me some
with the Mida multi-tool or something.
Yeah, across the map. So it's like there's much less worry of that really frustrating team shot meta, and you can get in there. That's just how I feel about it. I played with my girlfriend. We played a ton of games. It's just, I really enjoyed it. Most fun I've had since Mayhem. But I do understand the the critiques with the game type.
Okay, so I'm like in between right now. I would say for me, the most fun I've had since D2 PvP launch was Mayhem. And while this game mode is refreshing and it does change things up and brings a different spin on things, I don't think it's as fun as Mayhem for me. And the experience that I had. There is a lot of problems with it, and you guys have pretty much highlighted most of that. And the reason why I say you can't really 1v2 is not when you're going against a team that is completely separated the whole time. Of course, you can 1v2 a team that's disjointed and not coordinating their attacks and so on and so forth. But when you go against a team that is playing to win and they are benefiting from the buff, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to 1v2 those guys. It's not going to
What
happen.
about those warlocks just constantly putting down the healing rifts and then just
Healing
throwing
riff,
grenades at you?
bolt nade, healing riff, bolt nade, bolt nade, healing riff, bolt nade. It's like, unless you pulled the power ammo, good luck. And that's the problem with the sandbox. Hold on, Pope, let me finish. The problem with this sandbox is that it exemplifies these problems where you truly have to move as a unit. And in my opinion, Destiny's PvP is not built to be an esport, move as a unit type of team, competitive type of nature. It's more fun, as everybody says, to have those hero moments pop out. When you have your super, it's exciting. When you have something like Legend of Acurus or the Colony or different types of power ammos, it's a lot of fun. And the primary fights are exciting. They are, for sure. But what the problem with the sandbox is it feels like 90% is those primary fights there, where if you are playing against people who really do understand the meta and want to win, then it gets boiled down to that. And that's not really exciting for me to want to grind. Mayhem's exciting because somebody might be trying to smash me in midair and I pull out an Acurus and I take them out of their super. It's like, whoa, that was exciting. And then I die to another super or die to some primary from the side, but it's going quick. In this, it's like, unless you are that team that is trying to play hard and you're going against those, then you run up against that. If you're not running up against those teams a lot, then yeah, of course it's fun. And of course you can 1v2 people who are disjointed. And not team shouting.
Now I'm going to tell you that I played a lot on my Titan, then switched to my Hunter, then switched to my Warlock because I left my experience with my Titan going, holy crap, that was fun. You know, spamming the suppressor grenades, double spamming two Arc Titans with their double pulse grenades. Holy crap, right? I get it. And I was like, wow, you know, what can this is really powerful. What can I counter this with? And so what I'm telling you, Tefty, is that this is what we're asking for. And this is the game that we need. The only reason why it feels this sort of strange right now, in my opinion, is that it's new. There isn't enough time to really learn and to counter your abilities with other abilities. There is Gemini Jesper is powerful. Yeah, as it should be. It's an exotic. You know, the Titan grenade, the Titan, every class does have something that's powerful and counters another. And that's what we wanted. We wanted heavy abilities. We wanted the ability to 1v2 people. We wanted the ability to be able to have those hero moments. And I think that this literally gives us that. I played a lot. I played about half my games solo. And I played about 4, 6, 8. I played about 8 hours, 10 hours of game play, and I played about half of that with teams and other half solo, just so I could have an understanding of this. Yes, there were some shitty moments where I was frustrated with having a bad teammate or they left, but those weren't as often as I kind of feel like you're making them out to be. I found that I had a teammate. And if I just conscientiously, I can't communicate with him, but what I would do is I'd play it as VIP. I would just make it a mini game for me. Keep that guy alive, right? See what I can do. And then I ended up winning a majority of my games that I ran in solo. Did we run across good teams? Yeah, but that's PvP. You're always going to run across people that are better, and because they're better, they're going to stomp you.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about, Pope. What I'm talking about is those experiences that happen when a really good team goes against a really good team, ends up getting diluted down to the corridors and throwing grenade spam at each other.
I think we're not too far off from the points that you're both making. Pope, I like what you're laying down on the table. First of all, you want to play later, Crimson Doubles? Maybe not tonight, but another time. Let's do it, buddy.
Let's do it.
Second of all, totally understand what you're saying. I like that to a degree. Crimson Doubles was like fast paced in the fact that like you always had abilities. Now it's kind of, for a lot of people, a little too crazy. And I think what we want is more abilities to the point where, yeah, we have more hero moments. The moment I keep thinking of in my head was from Guardian Con last year when we were all watching the tournament, right? On the live big stage. It was so fun. And then Lumi went on that tear, that like a 2-minute tear, whatever that was. Do you remember that?
Got to see her back in a minute.
So good. That's what we want. And I think were close. Crimson Doubles for me was a fun and interesting experiment, and I think as long as we can reach a happy medium that doesn't involve, two people with arms linked throwing Shinobu's Vow grenades down a hallway, that's a little too much. But I do understand what you're saying in terms of more abilities can bring really fun, exciting plays like that Lumi moment at the Guardian Con tournament.
Yeah.
I would say that I don't think I would enjoy PvP at all if cooldowns were what they are in Crimson Doubles. It's just you're just fighting a grenade. You're fighting a rift. You're not fighting people. And I don't like the recharge rate that we currently have in Destiny 2. I think there's a middle ground that we can get, but I definitely don't think this is faster than D1.
Yeah.
And we hated it. And I was like, let's make it faster. So it's for me, I don't feel like I would enjoy just people throwing grenades at me constantly. Or, oh, look, this Warlock has his rift back and it's been, 5 seconds. Oh, great. I have to fight against that again. I don't think I would enjoy that. I would like it to be a bit faster. And I think that making those abilities come back a bit faster can make those heroes moments maybe happen more often. Mm-hmm. But I think that this is too much. Because like you said, if you're going against good players, imagine this in trials. It would be awful.
Well, here's what I'm imagining, Watts. I'm imagining me playing against you. And yeah, I want to be able. I think that these playlists, Crimson Doubles, is the Sandbox that I want? No. Is it fun for me? And an idea that what it could be? Does it need some tweaking? Yes. Do we get our grenades too fast? Yeah. I want to be able to have to do something to get my ability back quicker. Yes, all those things. Exotics should give me my abilities faster by doing something towards a specific play style that rewards me with my ability back faster. I get that concept, but what I'm saying right now is that in this game mode where I'm playing 2v2, I'm enjoying the ability to have another tool at my disposal to win those 1v2s, and I'm enjoying it, and it feels rewarding, which we've been talking about how it feels and our enjoyment of it, and I'm sure we're going to get, we'll get to it in a second, but damn, was it rewarding, right? The way they structured it, the rewards were flowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. One final thing about it is that if you enjoy Destiny 2's PvP as it is right now, then it is refreshing to go into 2v2 and experience a new mode and also have the ability changes, so on and so forth.
True.
If you are somebody who got fatigued and tired of how Destiny 2's PvP plays, then in my opinion, it exemplifies more of that. It doesn't fix it. It showcases more. And they made a mode that essentially says hug the butt even more and get rewarded for hugging the butt. So
Yeah, and that was my first critique coming into this conversation, is that I think that they should have honored some method of having players be able to split. The risk reward is already there, where your ability recharges not as fast, but there should have been a way that you can, engage in a flanking maneuver, but the risk reward should have been there. And I just feel like you're right. That was my first critique off the bat, the way that they did that. But nonetheless, I found that I was experimenting with exotics now. I played for the first time with, Shinobu's Vow, and then I switched to, and I started going through the classes, and I found that more classes were relevant in PvP than ever before. How is that not a good thing?
That's a good thing. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing, but just keep in mind it's a 1 week event, which is why I didn't exactly take it terribly seriously. I just kind of went in going, okay, we're playing with some drastically increased cooldowns, some other little things thrown in there. None of this particularly matters for the competitive side of things. Let's just have fun shooting mans and getting some engrams, getting some rewards.
I agree, but we're at a very important time in Destiny's evolution right now, where events like this are providing data and feedback to the Sandbox team. So to just look at it as it's just a playlist to have fun in misses and I don't mean. Yes, I do mean to be argumentative. Patrick, I disagree with you.
Okay.
I think that this is extremely important time for us to give feedback on these kind of events, because I do believe it's going to directly affect the sandbox that we're going to have to that we're going to get.
Okay. Well, in that vein, cooldown time too quick, but then again, it's hard for me to give specific feedback because all the changes are made for this specific mode, and it's not like representative as what could be a greater, change to PvP as a whole. Like if you were to suddenly change the sandbox to have that short of cooldowns as a whole, well, you're giving us mayhem at all times, and
without
that's without the supers, and that's not. I don't know. That's basically the only thing to really talk about is cooldown times.
Yeah.
From it.
Well, there's also movement speed. There's a point where you when your teammate is down, you have increased movement speed.
Being faster felt great.
I appreciated that.
Was
I
nice.
loved that movement
faster.
speed. I felt good. It allowed me to understand what it would be like to have faster movement and my abilities back and my grenade back in a 1v2, which I was able to win. That's what we're talking about here. Can you go off on your own and not hold your partner's butt and win those twos?
No, but you get one grenade back when they die.
You get a grenade.
No. Okay, maybe you don't understand this. So your partner dies. You immediately get the health regen. You get a melee and grenade, right? That's what happens when your partner dies.
Yes.
Okay. If they stick together, they're still continuously regenerating their abilities. So when you throw that grenade, they can see where you're at, and you're not regenerating your grenade. So if you do get in a grenade hallway, you have one to give, unless you have a perk with two, and then they have a continuous amount to keep on regenerating.
I guess I need to be more articulate with my point. In this game mode, you're right. Going up against two players that have the same ability spam, divorce yourself from that idea right now, Tefty. All I'm saying is feedback wise, if we had that movement speed and our abilities back, could we win a 1v2? And I know it's challenging.
So you want your abilities to come back constantly like that, no matter what the circumstances are? Just imagining?
Just assuming that you did something with your character that you would have your ability back more often.
So yes, you would have more options and more possibilities of the 1v2 to happen. But is it going to feel exciting killing people with a nade and then following up with a primary? I don't think that's as satisfying as how D1 was when it came with having the option to have a special, a nade, a primary, and then,
Okay. Yeah. So my goal was to challenge you and instigate a conversation about this.
Sure.
I fall more in line with you, Tefty. I enjoyed the game mode, but found it challenging to go against skill players. But there are people that don't get into that skill bracket. There wasn't skill-based matchmaking in this, but assuming
there was.
It was not. It was a connection based. You did run across some good players.
Because towards the end of the play session, I was basically going up against double Night Stalker teams every single time. People taking the game mode very seriously.
Well, it'd be interesting to ask. I didn't get any confirmation from, but I'm pretty sure that it's not.
It felt like it was.
I know you guys, but I don't want to quote. I don't want to quote anybody because I didn't have a conversation with them that I could quote. But let's just assume that we need to ask questions and find clarification. But I'm guessing that there's.
So I felt like it's how they always have done, where they try to get a circle of players that are within your connection and then rank it on skill beyond that. And then if there is nobody in that bracket, then let's get
some clarification on it for sure. Yeah, like I'll reach out and see if we can get an answer to that. But
on PC, you really feel that way. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be good to get some clarification. I just want to highlight that I agree with you, Tefty. I did, but I did find some really good feedback that I could give when in those moments where you have lost your partner. I wonder if that's the speed that they're looking at, or if that's faster.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting.
It'd
Like,
be very interesting.
yeah, it's the whole package. We need like faster speed, a little bit of faster time to kill, more options for power ammo, but that don't just break the game, so it's constantly rockets everywhere. Like, there's a lot of these little things that all tweak and then make a great sandbox. And right now, we just like experienced like too much frosting on the cake.
Right. I would really like for, I think something that I don't hear many people talking about is I would want weapons to just feel more crisp than they do. Because there was that feeling in Destiny 1 where shooting things felt amazing. When you're in the Crucible, you're like, oh yeah, feels so nice. I want
What was it? What was that Christmas? What do you think?
It could come from them having more aim assist in D1, because one thing they did do was lower the aim assist by quite a lot in Destiny 2, going from one game to the other. I don't know if that's what it is. I have no idea what they changed when it comes to that. But when you hit someone with your hand cannon, no matter really what that hand cannon was, like it felt you had an instant feedback of that weapon of that felt really good.
Okay.
So I want that back.
It felt like it felt like the delay compensation, or lag compensation got extreme with D2. And you died, like your ghost would end up dying in places where you didn't actually get shot a lot more often in D2 than it was in D1. In D1, it felt like you would see yourself getting shot behind a wall and die behind the wall a lot more. In this one, you'll die behind a wall, but your ghost will be out where the player originally shot you because of lag compensation. And I don't know if it's truly different just in the way that they show it, or if the lag compensation has been increased pretty heavily in D2 to try to prevent people from thinking that it's happening with the way that the ghost gets moved back to where the player shot you.
I know nothing about this. I'm saying that because I know nothing about networking or anything like this. So
it's definitely where they what they can adjust with the sandbox, right? That Christmas, the aim assist, I'd love to see it. I agree with you. I'd love to have snipers be relevant again. It's fun to have that range. I just want to make sure that we're all knowledgeable, that we're asking for us to feel more powerful, right?
When Watts was talking about like the sandbox stuff that changed from like D1 to D2, one thing that I was thinking about earlier this week was like, do you guys agree that landing precision shots has always been important in both D1 and D2?
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
In D1, I felt like you were rewarded for it more than you are in D2. Like playing in D2, landing precision shots is getting the most optimal time to kill. Same thing in D1, but you were more rewarded for it in D1, whereas in D2, you just aren't punished as much. Pulse rifles are the clearest example for me, where in D1, you were rewarded for hitting more of your shots in a pulse by getting the absolute best time to kill, and then kind of exemplifying the whole nature of pulse weapons. Now, pulse weapons are just balanced around getting all precision shots, which is just not really possible, which causes pulses to then just suck.
They're really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I think D2 could benefit more is rewarding precision shots, like, increasing the precision multipliers some, so that it, if you get off a good flank and you're good with your shots, you'll be rewarded for it. Stuff like that in PvP. People talk about increasing the time to kill, and I mean, a blanket increase like that in PvP. Not entirely sure that's the best way to go about it. Having more changes that emphasize, playing well over just giving raw increases everywhere. Because if you're complaining about team shotting now, well, when the time to kill gets increased and people are so used to playing with team shots, you're gonna fucking hate it then.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like it's all these little pieces that need to get tweaked to make a great sandbox. That's why you can't just say, well, abilities.
Of course.
Yeah,
you're right. It's many pieces that form the big picture. I mean, because in D1, it wasn't just like time to kill. Of course, the hand cannon, we all know the IS Luna palindrome 3-tap. It was very quick. But there were more things that made that experience what it was. It was like you have the player movement. You could
Right.
really pull off a great flank because you have the Titan, and you Titan skate around the map like that, and you get up right behind him. You have grenades that are powerful. You have great movement. You have better aerial accuracy, which can really encourage you, if you're a hunter, jumping into the fray against a team of people, because you're not going to get punished if you have, a certain rolled Luna that gives you a little bit better aerial accuracy. So you have the better aerial accuracy. You got the faster movement. You got more powerful abilities slightly. And it all just kind of comes together for a very specific experience in PvP.
Yeah.
I'd like to see us recognize that sort of they're going to increase movement speed. It's going to be interesting to see how they play that out. I'm hoping that they tie the abilities to specific, exotic armor pieces that you can choose different play styles and start to craft your character in a specific way. I think that will improve like the type of player you are, and it's not all just vanilla. Like it doesn't matter what character you are. That you actually have to talk to us about some heterogeneous groupings of your fire team.
You're gonna have to explain what that word is.
A variety of classes that make up the whole.
For a successful experience.
For a successful experience,
Okay.
and that it matters, right? It matters to have different characters that do different things. Right now, it doesn't really matter if you have, except for in some raids at higher level, it really doesn't matter all that much. But I'd like to see more of that. I'm just really curious to see how they're going to approach the class abilities.
Yep.
That feels like that's going to be weapons and class abilities are just going to be the two things that I feel like are going to make it or break it really, truly.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, how are they going to adjust the, obviously we're talking about time to kill, but and guns, making guns viable, different guns, fun to play with in PvP and in PvE, but then also how they combine with the with your abilities. I don't know. Just
see, Pope. That's the thing. Like I want to see a really healthy PvP environment, but at the same time, I want the Sandbox to come out and also reinvigorate the PvE side as well. Like I want to be able to go and do a strike and have a multitude of different loadouts to try out that don't feel linear. Like I want some real dynamic possibilities with the Sandbox to feel like, well, that was an interesting way to take out that boss, or an interesting way to chain supers and to chain abilities and so on and so forth. Because that, like, you look at the numbers, and we didn't talk about rewards yet for Crimson Doubles, and we should. Yeah. But I wanted to also point out that I am disappointed that it seems exclusively, well, not exclusively, but mostly for PvP. Because it would have been brilliant to have this exact same buff done with a doubles playlist and strikes as well.
Could it be argued that this type of change, or basically the change that we saw from D1 to D2 with the Sandbox going to this type of weapon system and this type of, talent system, basically Sandbox as a whole, that was done mostly for PvP over PvE?
The current state of Destiny 2
like the current state of Destiny 2.
Yes, yeah. I would agree that's the impetus.
Largely it feels that way for sure.
Why am I using big words right now? I feel like I'm still stuck in work mode.
Briar's not here to rein you in and stop you being all educated and shit.
I'm using words like impetus and like who knows. Anyway,
God, what a nerd.
Hope, match your diction to the audience that you talk to.
All right.
Are you?
Wow.
Are you implying something, Patrick?
Dumb?
No, I'm just saying if you want more people to join in the conversation, you appeal to the greater.
How we feel
Patrick's
about Patrick
toxic.
right now? Toxic
Streamer confirmed.
Toxic
So
streamer.
I just looked at Destiny Tracker, and obviously an event like this is going to up Crucible numbers. And it should. I mean, you can go in and get Crimson Engrams if you queue in that playlist.
You can get that sweet ass sparrow.
You get a sweet sparrow.
Petals around it.
Exactly.
Pretty great.
You can absolutely get that stuff. But still, with the numbers, 481,000 PvE yesterday and 384,000 Crucible yesterday. And that's with an injection of desire and interest for people to actually play it because of engrams.
People don't enjoy the Crucible. Indeed.
I'm not gonna lie. Had my girlfriend not said, "Hey, let's play," right when she did, I would have gone in and maybe played for like an hour or something.
That's what I did, and then I played Monster Hunter.
Like
so that's the problem
even
with
this,
Destiny in general right now is that people are skipping over these things when, I think that's where we are right now. People it's going to take more than Crimson Doubles to get people to come back.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
There's some positive press right now. People are generally happy with with Crimson Doubles. Generally,
the Destiny subreddit has overall been a breadth of very.
But it's going to take. I understand, Tefty, those numbers are down, but it's going to take this plus the Sandbox update plus a DLC and all three of those major events to hit home in a big way for, I think, a majority of the population to come back.
Totally.
So those numbers are low. But
let's talk about the rewards, okay?
Okay.
Because I think
let's get into it.
So now that I was like, hey, what the hell? PvE stuff is really light. It's mostly a PvP type of event when the current PvP experience right now is rough for a lot of players. That being said, I think reward-wise, this is absolutely the most successful event that they've done to date. I mean, it's very rewarding. You can go in, you can earn those engrams. They turn into dust. They have some interesting things that you can get, like an exotic emote. You can get the exotic sparrows. You can do, and there is PvE stuff. You can go into Nightfall. You get exclusive reward for Nightfall. You get a Wardcliff Coil skin for doing the raid. All that stuff I think is fantastic. That I love about the event.
Yep.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it for that.
Agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I would have liked actually? So I would have liked to see some kind of cool thing added Valentine's themed in PvE. Maybe strikes.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's 3 people you could have, the couple, and then one person's like the third
wheel. Yeah.
And they get a cool buff to them.
The third wheel buff.
The third wheel buff.
I like it.
You could have one buff that's called Get a Room, and like the 2 people that are closest together have the Get a Room buff, and third wheel is the one that's furthest away from that group.
There you
it
go.
constantly changes around based on positioning.
Are you writing all of this down, Bungie?
But here's the thing, guys. They totally could have made a 2-player strike playlist for Crimson Doubles and had the exact buff happen. When you're together, you get like ability spam.
Oh, wait. The new playlist for PvE for strikes for Crimson Days could have been called Threesome.
Sure. Menage a trois.
I don't know.
No,
Hope.
just
Sure.
Hope that's promoting like non-traditional relationships.
What are you talking about?
I mean,
that's just a term.
like
Threesome. I'm going. Yeah.
I like
why is
making
that not
something
sex
for the
related?
single people, okay?
Yeah.
It's because we got the single ladies dance that came in. You get that from doing a Nightfall. You can have PvE be like, here you go. Be a third wheel. Be powerful.
That's great.
Pope, call it threesome. I was told that this was a family podcast.
It is. I was just simply relating a term. I mean, you can use threesome in a lot of different ways. That is not. I mean, as a matter of fact, I don't even know what you're talking about. Is that a sexual term? I
don't know, Pope.
We just said threesome to mean 3. Like,
Right.
It just means
3 people
Oh,
in a strike shooting aliens.
That's right. Weird. You guys are weird. All right. Well, anyway, I'm with you. It would have been great to have a PvE Crimson piece. Yep.
I did have a question this week, and of course, that is the only question that I didn't put down the person who asked it because I am very bad at this. Briar's not here, so I'm trying to take his job, and of course, doing very poorly at it. But this person asked, is it me or just is anyone tired of getting cosmetic only events centered around Eververse at this point? I really don't think it's too much to ask to get event themed guns or armor excluding faction rally or like excluding faction rally or Iron Banner. I picked that one because that was my big kind of critique with this event, with kind of stuff as a whole, is a lot of the rewards are a huge draw for people. As much as we want to say, hey, we'll come in and play an event, or like we'll play a game mode in an event, rewards are that extra thing that really gets you to come in. So a lot of the rewards have been very much geared towards cosmetic. And I feel like that's, if you're not a type of player that's going to care about that, because I mean, you know enough about the game to know that putting a new fresh coat of paint on your better devils doesn't make it really shoot any better. these type of cosmetic only changes or cosmetic only rewards do get a little bit tiresome because
even just ornaments, actually, like ornaments for Crucible armor, seeing as it's a Crucible based event.
I was a little surprised that there wasn't ornaments. I thought that we were going to be seeing them for all the events. Like, we saw them for the last 2 events. I just was assuming that the PvP shacks would have some ornaments to add to that PvP armor.
Well, Holtzmann, you bring up a good point. I mean, who would have thought wanting loot in a looter shooter? What a concept. I'm right there with you. Like, I wanted more than just the cosmetic stuff. And I know that, like, I think that if the game was in a better place all around, then I would probably be a little happier to be like, cool, shaders and like, skin for my whatever gun.
But if you had the level of customization that Monster Hunter had, basically, and then all of a sudden a new event comes in and it's a bunch of cosmetic stuff, it's like, there's enough here. It's more cosmetic, sure.
Yeah.
But I'd probably feel better about it then. You know what I mean? But with kind of the player base in that state of unrest about the sandbox and, we want this and we want that, it just... Yeah, so I'd be more excited for it down the line to get cosmetic stuff if I just felt that like the game was just in a really awesome place. And it's like I had worthwhile, gear to grind for or whatever. You know what I'm kind of saying?
That's Pope. That's the thing.
Slap
that
a heart on a gun. Slap a heart on a
just
gun.
Just a little heart gem.
Just have it shoot
hearts.
What was that, Tiffany?
Pope, you were talking about how what needs to bring back people is those type of things where it's going to be DLCs and big changes, sandbox changes, and then also events bringing in loot into the game and not cosmetics. And that's a huge part of why Destiny 2 is in its current state right now, is that it's a cliche. You go back to the Cade thing. There will be loot. There's going to be a ton of loot.
There'll be tons of
loot in the game.
Tons of loot.
And yet here we are with a extremely loot-starved economy in the game where everything feels very samey. And there's a few standouts when it comes to exotics, but you can't just go in and be like, oh, I'm going to use loadout A, B, and C today because it's fun. And then tomorrow, E, F, G, X, Y, like it doesn't exist in the game right now. And they need to take massive risks when it comes to PvE and give us crazy guns. We need a rose petal shooting gun that may or may not be overpowered. It doesn't matter. It needs to be something crazy that people go, rose petal shooting gun?
No, an ornament for, bring back Thorn and have an ornament that is, pink. And
you're thinking balance though. And that's the problem right now. It's overly balanced. It's very generic when it comes down to how
every rose has its thorn.
Yes, but let's have something that goes crazy. That if it is too powerful, then take it out of PvP. I do want to balance PvP, but I want it to be fun. But at the same time, we need loot in the game that also comes in at a regular basis that stirs the community in a way that says, I have to have the gun that shoots hot dogs at people. Not that I want a gun that shoots hot dogs, but something of that craziness.
Well, I want a gun that shoots hot dogs.
Right?
Let's talk about what the Sandbox update could possibly mean. And it's something that we've been saying on this podcast forever, is that the rebalancing of the guns, the energy slot really needs to, it is an opportunity to get crazy, to get
Bring
Borderlands,
back Thorn.
right? All I'm saying is that the energy slot is our opportunity to take everything that is in there that looks like a normal gun and put it in the kinetic slot and start getting crazy with the energy slot and do stuff, let him get creative. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want to hear.
We need a billow gun that blows smoke people's ass.
Oh shit, we've got it, dude. What is it? The tractor cannon?
It could be a support weapon.
Yeah, the tractor cannon needs to have like
does
smoke.
Do that, yeah.
Imagine an ornament or an option in tractor cannon that when you selected it, instead of doing damage, it billowed out smoke, so you could do smoke screens.
The ornament's called the Ancient Bellows.
Yes, that would be amazing, right?
That would be so good.
That's why some people kind of hated on the gun when it came out, but I like the colony, and I want them to do more things like the colony.
Yes.
My friend was like, "You got this new gun? It's a grenade launcher." I was like, "It's a grenade launcher?" Like, I'm trying to take people to the lighthouse here, buddy. That's not going to fly. And he's like, "No. It shoots robot spiders that track people." I was like, "What the hell did you just say?"
Yes.
Do you play mostly on
Is this
console?
Destiny? Yeah.
I do play on console. Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly.
Like
on PC too, but
like I got the gun first on PC, and when I was using, like, this thing
broken, right?
This thing sucks.
It
I'm
didn't
like,
track at all. So annoying.
I mean, yeah, sometimes if you shoot the spider right in front of an enemy, it'll see the enemy and go straight forward. But if they have like, it can just sidestep it, like it doesn't work. And then you put out that video Fallout. I was like, yeah, this thing's broken. It just doesn't.
That was amazing.
Doesn't work.
The FPS.
Yeah, and then
really funny.
Yeah, and like this is the first time I went to go play PvP. On console. Was Crimson Doubles, and then I ran into a lot of those. And oh my god, that thing is
meta right now.
Yeah, that thing is
amazing.
Nutty on consoles.
Pretty great.
It's really funny.
And that's what I'm highlighting, is that it does exist in the game. I'm not saying it's not there, but it's few and far between right now in the sandbox.
Right.
We need legendaries to actually have things that are very interesting. And that's what was awesome about D1 is there was legendaries. Like a Genesis Chain provided explosions and looked cool as like an auto rifle. Genesis Chain absolutely feels like an exotic in D2 right now. And they need to make interesting legendaries in there. Not just exotics, because you can only equip one exotic. I want an interesting primary, I want an interesting secondary, and then I want to have like a heavy exotic, like Legend of Acreus.
I think what you're saying is you want space magic.
Space magic.
Just need more space magic.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Just put that on their board. They have Go Fast. Just put that space magic.
Space magic.
Everything they're making, space magic.
Yep.
Is this space magic-y? No, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Space magic.
Where's the space magic? Well, we haven't added it yet. You're fired. Get out of the
So everyone knows that at Bungie there's like this giant, Tefty, that like when you're in the studio producing music, there's like a giant board with a bunch of sliders and knobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Exact same thing, but it just has at Bungie, but it says Sandbox. Like,
is that it?
Kind of
They just
like
turn knobs
written on a piece of masking tape.
Yeah.
Put
Sandbox
on there
fader.
somewhere. They haven't added the space magic
Space
slider
magic fader.
in yet, which is why they can't just like up
they
the
just
space
need to program
magic.
the board.
Yeah.
They just need one guy in a room, and then like they
move
have
the
all
slider.
their. He's like, here are the finished changes. We are going to do all of this. Here you go, Steve, or whatever. And his only job is to just like space magic. That's all he does. He just takes it up to 11.
They need a space
there should
magic
be the guy
matter.
in every room. Yeah, every meeting has that guy that walks in and he's the space magic guy, and he keeps asking the question. But does that have what's the level of space magic in this?
He wears a long purple cloak with like white stars on it, and like
He hasn't bathed in like
That's
2
space
weeks.
magic.
He's like he's a former like WoW addict, and he just crawls into the room and just goes, and he's wearing a beanie and a shirt that of like the community that he's a part of, and a hoodie that's half zipped open, and puts it over his head randomly in meetings, and then he walks in and he just goes, space magic.
This is the prime example. We've got
and he wears glasses.
We've got a faction rally
indoors.
coming up next week. Okay, and they showed some new weapons that are coming, and I'm like, oh, new weapons, and then I immediately think, well, they're probably going to feel like weapons I've already used in D2 with very similar perks, and they're not going to have the space magic. Steve didn't come in and wave a wand at it and make them space magic.
Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I talked about it last week. It's like it's hard to have space magic, or it's hard to have that enticing drawing power level when every single legendary only has one perk on it.
Yep. True.
So let's talk
We need
about
guns with 10 perks that you have to intricately think about. Which one's going to be the best for my playstyle? Which one's going to... That's what we need.
And you have to
That's
get
what we
gems from your enemies.
Yes.
To be able to
We
put them
do.
in to unlock those
Carve
perks.
them.
We need the exotic Kvostov. We need that for everything.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So in the TWAB, which it still qualifies as a TWAB, it does.
It does. We got
It
some
does qualify
specific
as a TWAB.
information.
Yeah.
It's very
awesome.
I'm gonna skip the first section. We'll go over the next event that's happening in just a minute. But and because it's relevant, I want to jump straight into the fine tuning section of the TWAB. And
let's be real here. When you're leading off with Faction Rally, and we've seen it.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the Faction Rally in a minute, but let's jump right into the Sandbox changes. Josh Hamrick has mentioned on the TWAB that they're going to be getting into more specific Sandbox changes. Today, they went into specifics more directed towards the exotics. Senior designer John Wisniewski jumped into it, and he talked specifically about the exotic tuning pass that their team is trying to make exotics more exotic-er.
Exotic-y.
Exotic.
More space magic-y.
More space magic. There's a guy that jumped into that room and said, "Space magic. Space magic. Space magic." And then walked out. So then, so John talks about it, and he goes,
"Do you want me to go through it?"
Actually,
do it, Holtz.
Yeah,
go through it.
So,
do it.
I have a YouTube channel about guns and shit, and this is what we go over. Gameplay goals for this pass: tuning pass on exotic gear focused on adding and/or increasing player power spikes. So generally, what that means is, how there's like a thing on an exotic that will make you that's very unique, that will make you play in a different way. A lot of those don't do anything on Destiny 2. Like a 6% damage increase on precision hits on Darcy. Holy shit! That's just getting me all turned up here.
Hot,
sweaty. So it's getting me super sweaty. Focus on low usage items, but all items are considered. Agreed. There's some items that are really good, but everything could get hit. And just as an example, they talk about everything that they're not going to touch. Mm-hmm. Would you all agree that Sunshot is a really good exotic right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not on that list. Like, they are actually going to do stuff to Sunshot to, I assume, hopefully make it more exotic and space magic-y.
Cool.
And I do agree that there's a lot of low usage items that need a lot of help. Lean into an item's established gameplay and push it harder. Avoid catch-all improvements that dilute item identity. Agreed. It's like, so as an example, I'm just going to say, if I was doing this, Tractor Cannon, it doesn't need to do more damage. The hilarity of Tractor Cannon is pushing people or objects or whatever. It's the knockback from it. Make the knockback have more knockback to it.
The billow. The smoke from the billow.
The billow.
It's more knockback-ish.
Make it go through Titan shields.
Ooh.
Yeah, sure.
Just knock the Titan right back from the shield.
All right.
Because then you could counterplay the shield, right? You knock him away from the shield and
What if?
Yeah.
You could
I'm not confirming that as a change. I'm just saying that's what I would do. Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
Confirm change.
Huh? Confirm change. Post on Reddit. Post on Reddit. It's there. So then he goes to talk about Graviton Lance. He was talking about that on Twitter, saying like he was having really good, really fun fights with what's the Cabal one? It just Skyburner Oath. Skyburner's Oath plus going against someone with Graviton Lance, and they were having really, really cool fights. And well, he talks about what the changes are coming here. He first goes in and says, so what they wanted to do is, make a pulse rifle that it shoots two shots to kind of prime the air to make the last shot that's really high impact, do a ton of damage and stuff. So they're trying to bring in some real world stuff that is something that is on actual guns. And then a kill will knock the body back with considerable force. It tumbles and then it explodes, stuff like that. But I said it in my review, and I was like, this is cool, but it's not practical. It doesn't
show, no go.
Yeah. And then he kind of confirmed it there. It looks great, sounds great, need explosion, but you can't get kills in PvP because the damage at the end of a burst. It kicks too hard for a follow-up, and you can't reliably damage targets with the death explosion in any activity because the body goes flying too far backwards. Yeah, agreed wholeheartedly. And so then they talk about the changes that they're going to do to it. So they added some aim assist. We were talking about that earlier, where a lot of stuff just didn't have a lot of aim assist. Changed it from a 3-round to a 2-round, which is actually interesting. I've been wanting one of those since first weeks of Destiny 1.
Yeah.
There's a fun weapon in PlanetSide. It's a 2-round pulse rifle. Anyway, It plays in the fantasy of low damage, gravity neutralizing rounds, and then make the last bullet go in. And then it ensures that the damage per burst is at a competitive level for PvP engagements. Cool. And apparently it has a slight mathematical edge against other pulse rifles. I don't like the term slight mathematical edge because
0.04%.
Yeah, it applies that again from the past. Anyway, they did some tuning to the ragdoll body because when you kill them, they turn into a ragdoll and go flying back, which is unbelievably narrow to actually try and use. They made it so rather than violently flying backwards and likely out of range of potential splash damage, the defeated opponent floats back and up. Then we made the explosion bigger, increasing the damage and adding some void field projectiles to seek out any remaining targets.
That's the big one.
That sounds really
interesting. That was when I was kept reading. I was like,
it's like axiom bolts from your kills.
It sounds like a mini Cataclysm Nova Bomb. I mean,
yeah, it actually does.
Sounds really powerful.
Sounds very powerful, almost like an exotic.
And like an exotic. And when you kill the guy, if you kill him with a headshot, it also lowers their credit rating. I don't know how they got that into this.
Mine's already at 0, baby. Low as I can go. That's what you want. Low credit rating.
Some augmented reality guns right there. Wow.
They said they're not going to touch every gun. That's an extreme. Like that's an example of like a full tweak. And why not every exotic is going to get that kind of love.
Not everything needs it.
Not every gun needs it. There are some that he mentions that are very much in a good space, they believe. I would agree. Merciless, Telesto, Ward of Coil, Mitem Multi-Tool, Colony, Legend of Acreus, and the Vigilance Wing all have performed well in and I agree with that list.
Yeah, and then the next sentence there after that, some of the above perform well without needing changes, while others, like Vigilance Wing, Pulse Rifle, are already benefiting from the tuning changes planned for the update.
Right.
Everything else has some degree of power. So, we are going to hopefully see, large enough changes to a lot of this stuff, or like just to normal legendary weapons, because big tuning changes coming. Hoping.
Yeah. I can we take a second to take a look at some exotics that are not on that list of that are potentially guns that they are going to be changing?
That's a good idea.
And assume and maybe make a connection to what we might see that would make them more exotic-y.
Right? Yeah, let me go to my.
We could talk about the Crimson, because Crimson is one of the more unique guns.
Yeah. Let's start there. Watts, what do you think? What could make that more exotic-y?
It's rough because it's what a lot of people have said. It's kind of like a bad pulse rifle and a bad hand cannon, and you have both.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I think that's going to be one of the harder guns to kind of make amazing, because it's such a unique gun. There's nothing that's like it. It has to not outperform hand cannons or pulse rifles, because then why would you use a hand cannon? Why would you use a pulse? It has to be in a really special place. So maybe more ammo is one thing that it definitely needs, because if you can run out of ammo very fast.
I feel like you need to say that about
everything.
Everything. Because like, I don't know, you guys.
Well, auto rifles. Uriel's gift has plenty of ammo.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't. But if kinetic weapons didn't have to worry about reserve ammo.
Like you've been saying since D1.
Like I've been saying since D1.
Honestly, kinetic, you should never not have ammo in one of your guns.
Yeah.
Kinetic should be unlimited.
And they should just move sweet business to energy, so you don't have to worry about that having infinite ammo.
I'm a fan of like giving it a heat gauge, and so you can fire it for a long time. Yeah. But that means they would have to do more stuff, so whatever.
That's a great idea.
Crimson's definitely a weird one. How about Jade Rabbit?
Having it like
that might change because of the sandbox.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Let's hope, because good.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Like
high impact scout rifles might get adjusted significantly with the upcoming sandbox change, and Jade Rabbit might become a real standout.
But let's talk about Jade Rabbit's a good example, because when I interpret something like the exotic becomes more exotic-y, right? I don't see the perk of an increased headshot. It's boring. It's not exotic.
You need a rabbit to go and fetch the glimmer from your enemies every time you kill somebody.
That's right.
With it.
You get a kill, a little rabbit jumps off your gun and goes. And
he's got a top hat. And when he successfully gets the glimmer, he goes top of the day to you, and then runs off.
He goes space magic.
Space magic,
and leaves. He's the little magic bunny rabbit.
No, but like,
I'd use that
so
guy.
what is that jade rabbit? What is exotic about a jade rabbit? Right? What makes it?
It's a kinetic weapon that has theoretically infinite ammo if you play perfectly. That's the exotic.
And it's not exotic-y. That's what I'm saying. Like, use your imagination. And what makes Jade Rabbit exotic-y? What could we add to it?
Every third crit produces an energy bullet. Does solar
energy
damage.
Bullet?
Every third crit does like solar damage or something.
A tick of damage?
I don't know.
Like tick damage? Like damage over time? Or
yeah,
like a thorn?
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Jade Rabbit is now Thorn.
So no. So let's keep with the design of it. So it's two bodies, and then the headshot gets the two bodies, and then there's precision damage increase after that. Correct?
Sure. Could do that.
Well, that's what the perk is, right?
That's what it does.
Maybe it gives you arc souls that are not arc souls; they're bunnies.
Well, no, but I mean for real, like, what if you two bodies, and then if you hit the third one and you activate the perk, your third one is a headshot. It produces damage over time, and that would be essentially the kill, right?
It would make it a 3-tap?
It would make it a 3-tap, but then your body would explode, right?
Sure.
Damage to boom.
I mean, it needs something that's
exotic,
not,
right?
It needs something that's not boring. And at the same time, if a thing does too much, or it's kind of complicated to, understand, then it usually means it has a kind of weird.
Great one, Mudkip. You can stack up your damage on your headshot by chaining bodies.
Didn't we have that?
That's exactly what it does.
That's what it
is.
is.
No. Like you're increasing your damage, right? Like we're talking about, like the damage over time, like it has a relational burn to it, right? So you body, and then that shot's going to be building up a burn charge.
Okay.
And you fire it on something, and it burns for longer.
Here's what you do. You chain bodies up to, say, 5, and it creates a 5 stack of an explosive round that is a crit.
Like that one gun that we had, the sniper rifle. What was it called?
Zen Meteor,
but something like that, ish, right?
They just explode somebody.
It's like a legitimate power gun.
Yeah, like if you get 5 body shots, and then the 6th one is a crit, it's the biggest type of explosion you could produce out of that gun. But if you get a body shot and then a crit,
that's a good idea.
Then it produces like a smaller explosive round.
And confetti and like little grunts go. Hee!
Well, that's the biggest thing, is that you need visual feedback from these perks for them to feel satisfying.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
I'm instead of going over every single one, because there's there's a lot of exotics. Like Rat King, anything immediate happen? Anything immediate that you guys can think of?
Yeah, I like the.
So what if the shoots out a rat?
He's got a top hat. He collects
every
engrams
single
for
weapon.
you.
Exotic perk is it now shoots out some sort of animal.
All right. I think
fighting lion.
King...
It could shoot out a lion.
It roars at your enemies, freaks them out, makes them uninstall.
They go like they're doing that thing like in Monster Hunter where the roar happens, they can't move for a little bit.
Oh yes, they get stunned. Yes. They don't have earplugs in.
Mm-hmm.
Tractor cannon.
You get a palico.
Tractor cannon actually shoots out a tractor now.
It tills the land.
And it bulldozes them into the air. That's why they go to where the knockback comes from.
Prospector actually shoots out like a
miner.
Yeah, like an
somebody who's mining.
Old school prospector,
Yes.
And he starts like panning for gold and
This
shit,
is
and then you
brilliant.
get some glimmer.
Better
You could
devils
actually
shoots
shoot
out a
him at a
devil.
mountain and get glimmer.
Sunshot. You hit them, and the sun literally comes out of your gun and hits the guardian, and everyone dies.
I think that's the lore behind it. Actually, is that there is like a condensed sun inside the weapon.
Sun.
Oh man.
All right.
Perfect.
These are like the ramblings of someone at Bungie who's like
who's about to
How
get
do we make
fired.
it exciting? What
done like blow in the bathroom before their big board meeting presentation. So actually, you hit them with the sunshot, and like the sun, the actual sun, just comes out, and everything is
It gets dark all over the map.
Like
and
whoa.
it's just coming out.
Got like papers everywhere. I don't know.
The exotic perk of Darcy could be that it.
Shoots out a lady called Darcy, and it's here.
Yeah,
Please.
it actually
Reads
talks
you a
to
story.
you. It actually talks to you because
She
it's
like
an AI.
tries to alphabetize your vaults.
Yeah, the exotic perk of Darcy
She
is that
applies a
whenever
Dewey
you get a
Decimal
kill,
System to your.
it
to your-
organizes your vaults perfectly.
Oh, I'd go for that gun.
Can it clear out my postmaster too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it clears
I'd
out
probably
your
use that. That sounds
I'd use
great.
that.
Number
All
one
right,
most
so-
requested change.
I like the concept of Rat King being stacked with other Rat Kings, but I don't think it's too niche and not applicable enough. That's why people aren't using it. I think that what's that?
What's that word mean? Applicable.
It doesn't
Applies?
apply.
There we go.
What's
What is
your
that
education level?
apply? What do you?
What am I trying
What are we
to
saying?
What do you
do?
mean by
saying
apply?
Well, here I'm not gonna. I don't think words really can do this word justice. So I'm gonna actually ask you to do some things to visually demonstrate what the word means. Okay. So, Fallout, I want you to lick your finger. Okay. And then I want to stick it up your nose. You have now applied your wet finger into your nose.
Into the
You
nostril.
have applied saliva to your nose. That's what that
You
means.
know, if you stick your
You're
finger
going
far, I
too
can touch
fast
my
for me,
brain.
college boy. I don't have a PhD. You gotta slow down.
Oh man, you guys. So I guess what I'm I know we can just kind of jump out at what exotics would mean to us, and I don't think this is really the right time. I know you guys are kind of being goofy right now about what's going on. I know you're serious.
I'm serious
But,
about every
I don't
animal that
think
we've
there-
talked about coming out of a gun.
All the animals for sure.
Yes.
And-
We need a
All
jungle.
right, so we need a rabbit, we need a rat, and we need a lion. Any
Yeah.
other animals?
That just
we
reminded
need
me of
to-
that time that we thought that there might have been companions in Destiny 2.
We
Guys,
did,
remember
yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah, with I thought it was a Rise of Iron. Like, are we gonna get a wolf? Are we gonna get a wolf?
Well, then in
Yeah.
D2, we were like, okay, there's going to be a lion. You know, hunters have a hawk or an eagle.
Yeah,
This is
because they
amazing.
changed all the.
Companion.
Yeah,
Oh, a snake. Sorry, my bad. It was a snake.
it was a snake.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah, like-
so that
well-
was an interesting idea to talk about exotics.
Well, it's
appreciate
also really dense, and there's a lot of exotics that need a lot of help.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I just
Yeah,
wanted
it's
to
a
get
big
the
drop.
concept
Holy
of
moly.
what is exotic. I don't like the so what I want is communication of what is it. That example of Graviton Lance is an interesting one. They did it on purpose. They gave an example of how they're going to touch an exotic and make it more exotic-y. That they're defining their term exotic-y, right? My critique is that I understand what they're trying to do and that they're increasing what the weapon does and they're keeping within the lore. But what worries me is that they said that this is something that they're heavily touching, right?
Sure.
But I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of the exotics need that kind of the term exotic-y to means that shouldn't be the top. Graviton Lance and the example they gave should not be the top of that example. Like the most that they're going to touch a gun. I think all of them need to have some. The term exotic-y to me means space magic.
Yeah, exactly.
It
But
does, it does.
Okay.
it comes down to whoever is doing the touch up, applying enhancements to the exotic needs to take a step back and say, did they make it more fun?
Yeah,
Just
that needs to be the main focus.
can they check that
Is this-
box? Is it more fun?
Does it feel good using this gun?
Mhm.
Do you feel like you're getting something from it?
Is
So
it
I would
exotic?
love for in my mind's eye, the Sandbox team is meeting in a boardroom that is lined with whiteboards. This big room with whiteboards, and they start off with looking at the classes and each general build for the classes. We've got that mobility hunter. We start naming them, right? We start giving them perks that make them unique, right? And exotic armor pieces that encourage certain play styles and reward them for being successful and using skill to achieve that play style's intended purpose, right? Then they start looking at weapons that they can tie using each one of those classes to accentuate and build upon those classes. So if you're choosing to be a Titan skating, war machine, running at people, going fast, and you choose to use the Fighting Lion, and that's what you're in up close and personal, and you're getting that, and that Fighting Lion should give you an advantage. You should be able to melee, attack, get the kill, be rewarded. What I'm saying is that I would like to hope that they are creating classes now tied to exotic perks, to class specific play styles that accentuate these exotic weapons.
You want
and
synergy.
Make synergy.
Mm-hmm.
I want there to be rewards for playing.
You want your
getting
subclass
good
to synergize with the weapons that you choose to use.
And make that
That would be
creative,
amazing.
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if
So then you're not picking something that's necessarily good. You're picking something that's good for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
That'd be
mean,
great.
that the issue at hand right now is that Uriel's gift just happens to get kills the most by the way it's designed in the sandbox at the moment.
Yeah.
And it becomes a go-to type of weapon. And you want to move away from, well, here's a go-to just because it naturally gets kills, to something that is fun and synergizes with your subclass.
That's right. I mean, I really hope that they let us discover those pathways, but there is some book or some wall, some whiteboard somewhere at Bungie where they've literally drawn those out. What does it mean to be every exotic armor piece should be defined as a class play style within those. Make them mean something.
Hey.
If you're running give me an exotic armor piece. If you're running
Eon Soul.
all right, any of them.
Eon Soul, come on, man.
I don't even know what Eon Soul does.
The gloves?
Pope, it's honestly.
Oh, that's the one where you're with other people.
Yeah, when you're with other people,
I delete that one every time.
Synergize with your fire
whatever.
team.
What if when
use
you're
that as
using
an
the
infusion tool?
racking with those arms, it increases the racking buff?
Yes.
Pope,
All right.
I don't want to like.
Synergize.
I don't want to.
Synergy.
I don't want to shit on this one right here, but it's from a design perspective. Designing stuff for specific classes makes it a very narrow choice for types of things. It's much better, in my opinion, to design something with an appeal to a certain player type than a class type.
Yeah, but I disagree with you because it's empty. I'm sorry to cut you off here, but like I think that the community. So what I've learned in education is you can give people the tools that you think I can teach a kid how to do something, or I can talk to them, I can lecture them. Once it goes into the space of their minds and their creativities and their abilities, what is created out of that always surprises me. Always makes me excited to see what they can come up with. So all I'm saying is there needs to be forethought into these exotic pieces that they believe the playstyles will come out of, and watch us go nuts with them.
Okay. Yeah, I agree partially, but the trap that they've gotten into right now is forcing playstyle. And it took away a lot of the fun of discovering things in D2 that D1 had. Like, they didn't anticipate Titan skating and all that, and it naturally came about with certain builds. And that's the issue that we have right now, is that they want us to play this way, but the community wants to find all these different ways to play that are fun.
And that's what they should. They should unlock that. Uncork that ability. But I'm saying that I want to see us have a exotic piece that's meaningful, that plays into perks, that creates a. I mean, I watch Overwatch. You've been watching that Overwatch? I don't want Destiny to turn into Overwatch, but please bear with me here. I watch Overwatch, and it's okay that certain classes are powerful in certain circumstances. They effing should be. All right? If I've got a Titan, I should be powerful up close. If I'm playing, those perks of speed and like mobility and and resistance, that all should matter, right? If you are speccing yourself for power and defense, then you should be slow as hell, but then also be powerful to take a lot of damage. You watch Overwatch and you see these guys that are tanks by the objective point going, they're taking all this damage, and you've got a healer helping them. I don't want Destiny to turn into Overwatch, but I sure as hell want it to mean something when I pick a class.
I don't think it's ever going to mean something when you pick a Titan in terms of your.
It did though. You had a bubble. You had the ability to
still have a bubble.
change the game.
You still have a bubble.
I'm giving an example. That bubble's shit, and you know it. That bubble's a piece of crap. And
it is a fundamental change to the entire sandbox to make it mean something to be a Titan, be slower, and have more hit points. It is a.
That's what we're talking about, Tef. The fundamental change to the sandbox. God damn it!
But that's completely different from D1. That's completely different from D1.
They need to change it dramatically and make it meaningful.
D1 was never that, and it's not a competitive shooter.
We don't want D1. We want D2. D2 is supposed to be better. God damn it! Sorry.
All right.
I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with you that D2 needs to be better.
We don't want D1. I want D2's better. I want it mean
I
something.
agree.
I pick a Titan, and I want to be able to lay down my bubble and say, "Come here, mother. I'm gonna take you on." I want a hunter that's so fast and so invisible that he can flank shit and go mean something. Just come up behind a team and do some work, right? I want a warlock that produces auras around me that protects my teammates and does space magic. You know, that creates a spell and it drops a ward that will allow my teammates to do shit, that do cool stuff.
I agree, Pope. I want something drastic, but if I start wanting that come March 27th, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I think they can go there. If they're not going to go there in D2, they sure as hell effing go there in D3.
Sure, another game for sure. I mean, if they completely change the fundamentals, but like there is
D2 should matter.
I think we can all agree with that. That I want to pick a hunter and be like, okay, I feel like a hunter. I actually felt like I felt more like a hunter in Destiny 1.
You were better than Lumi. I thought. Now
that's not true.
That means a lot. When I saw you play, it was like watching poetry in motion. To me, I like to watch it. I like to watch Hunter Holtz precision headshot somebody with the throwing knife and do shit. This D2 was supposed to be an evolution of that. And I understand how they fucked up, and I understand that we're going to something different, but the sandbox should mean something, and I don't want them to undershoot this. I don't want them to be safe. I want them to make it matter that I'm a Titan.
You're not going to find any disagreement from me. You really aren't.
No.
Yeah.
I don't.
I want the game to be amazing. I want it to be a lot better. I want Bungie to do something amazing.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we all would be A-okay with Bungie going a little bit crazy. Taking the risks, making things maybe be a little unbalanced for a bit, and just take the risks. Go with fun, see what happens.
Yep.
See, the thing is, people are assuming that making your Guardian powerful is going to ruin PvP. That's wrong. That is fundamentally wrong. You guys need to change that mentality. The concept of a balanced PvP means, take a look at Overwatch. Balanced PvP,
but it's so different, Pope.
It doesn't have to be. Tempe.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
Look,
your concept of a Titan, like in Overwatch, in Destiny PvP, or like a hunter being like,
not exactly like.
But
that.
That's what you're talking about, man.
I'm saying that you should be able to, tank bullets and do stuff, right? But then you should have support classes to be able to support it.
But the game is not built that way. Just fundamentally, it's not in there. They're not going to overhaul the sandbox and make a completely different game with the same story on top of it. It's not going to happen. Like I'm realistic.
PvP is already effing ruined, right? It's already destroyed in a lot of ways.
It could be a lot better. It does not need to be Overwatch, though.
It's time to do something dramatic.
Yes, I agree that they need to be dramatic about it. And I'm being realistic about what's coming on the 27th.
I know.
I'm excited about weapon changes. I'm excited about the exotics being better, so on and so forth. But if I start thinking, man, I need to feel like a Titan when I get in there on the 27th, oh my God, I'm going to be disappointed.
Wait, 27th?
I hear you.
Of March.
So I'll pare it back.
I just want to feel crispy. You know, if we could get that down first, you know, I shoot things, my bullet goes where I want it to go. It feels good when it hits the person in the head. They die. That would be amazing.
That would be great when on the 27th of March they put out the patch notes. Here's the first bullet point. We've made everything feel crispy. And Lost is just like,
nice.
oh, great.
They were like, sweet,
Awesome.
that's all I need. Crispy snipers, crispy handguns, crispy scout rifle. That's all we need.
That's actually the entire.
Make it crispy.
That's just the one bullet point. That's it. And they're like, oh, great. That fixes everything.
Sweet, yeah. I'm happy now.
Yeah, I'm not, and to clarify, I'm not saying I want Overwatch to be Destiny to be Overwatch. What I'm saying is that I like the concept of Overwatch where it matters what class you pick. I want Destiny to matter what class you pick. They're too close to each other right now.
I think they can do that in the sandbox.
Yeah.
It should matter. I mean, I remember in D1, it was a beginning of the conversation where it said like hunters were sneaky and fast and da 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 da. I just want it to matter that I'm a Titan and somebody's a Warlock. I like making fun of Warlocks. I like looking down on hunters. I want Titan Master Race. So those kind of arguments were awesome, right?
Yeah.
It mattered that you were this, and it just feels like in Destiny 2 they obviously went away from that. That's what I want changed. I want them to bring that back. And we keep talking about power levels and stuff. What is that defined to be? That's defined to be space magic. To me means that it matters that you're a solar Titan.
Are we going to get into questions? Because we're already an hour 50 into the podcast.
Yeah, I just looked at the time. I was like, oh yeah, this is where Briar would usually say, "Pope, shut up. Let's go into Twitter questions."
Yeah, well, you guys should have. It's not my
Well, that's why we need Briar here. He reins us in.
I understand.
He's our dad. Anyway, Twitter questions. Briar's better at this, and I can't remember how he says people's names. I put one of the names down. I didn't put the @ whatever. Anyway, Toffer says, do you think it would be a good thing if Bungie brought back more D1 maps with slight adjustments like Burning Shrine as free updates?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's free, right? If they're going to give me a free D1 map, then sweet.
Do you feel that you would be okay with the government sending you free money every month? Yes, I think I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because we're still getting new maps in DLC, right?
If it meant that they were taking people away from creating new maps and stuff, I mean,
well, to be fair, a lot of the D1 maps were better than D2 ones. So
yeah,
it depends on the map, but yeah.
I think it would be cool if they put out a poll of like who
what's your favorite map?
What's your favorite? And then they pick the top
that'd be good.
2 and remade them for us.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I'm all about taking content that's from D1, bringing it back so long as it's free, because the game could use more content.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Slick Gray asks, what is one of your favorite childhood memories? One of mine is my mom letting me stay up past my bedtime to watch her play Bust a Move on Super Nintendo. No matter what anyone says, I'm sure no one's will be as weird as Patrick's.
It's probably true.
Uncalled for.
It's a hard one.
No, it's true. That is hard. Favorite childhood memory.
Got a lot of great childhood moments.
I know. That's how do you narrow that down?
Yeah.
I mean, my dad, so we didn't have a lot of videotapes. I had Dune, which I watched a lot, Indiana Jones, and then like Ghostbusters, and then like E.T. I really liked watching E.T. when I was really young. I really liked the scene where they all fly away on their bikes. So my dad would, I don't know how he did this, but he would pick me up with dad strength, pick me up while I was riding my bike, and like hold me above his head while I was biking. And I talked to him about this way later on, and apparently I would continue pedaling the bike while he was doing that, and that meant that there was a rubber wheel that was spinning a lot, really fast with the metal chain, and he would only do it like maybe once every month or so. Because I apparently completely trashed like the skin on his forearm doing that.
Geez.
Yeah,
Wow.
but so that sacrificed that for me.
Yeah, that's
So I
Sacrifice.
tend to
pretty
be
amazing.
How old were you? What is your dad, Captain America? Like, how do you hold
just dad
like
strength, man.
above the? That's
Just
crazy.
dad strength.
That is
Poke.
crazy.
Yeah, dad strength.
If your kid wanted to be wanted to feel like he was riding a bike, flying, you would find a way to pick up that bike and do it, wouldn't you?
Damn right.
Yeah, Titan strength. Or
Now,
dad strength.
see, we have to say which kid we're talking about. Because if you're talking about the baby, that's cheating. The baby does not weigh anything.
I think that our memories of our childhood are always interesting to go back. The reality is that Patrick's dad was probably lifting him about 3 inches off the ground.
Oh no,
and
no, it
holding
was
the bike.
straight up.
No, I mean let's be honest here. And he's probably just
Don't you insult
lifting
my
him up
dad's
like this. And
My dad was stronger.
and his dad's like, ooh, and Patrick's like, so let's
I can
be
confirm
honest,
that
right?
side of my story. I was doing that.
Wait,
yes.
Patrick, were you being ET in that situation?
No, I
You
had
get to sit in the basket?
I had an ET doll
With a little
in a
blanket on
basket.
it?
I had a little ET doll that I wrapped in a basket that I
In
put on my bike.
bacon?
Bacon, baby.
Oh, no.
Not bacon.
Guys.
It's a true story. Holtzmann actually told me that this happened when he was 19 years old. So
Nice.
That makes it even more impressive. My dad was able to lift me up.
You're
over
like,
his head.
wee!
And reminds me, we need to have a gun that shoots ETs riding bikes out of it, right?
Write it down, Bungie.
It looks like a walkie-talkie.
Hashtag write it down.
Yeah, there we go.
Who gets that
That's what
reference?
I-
Okay.
Man, I got a lot of great childhood memories. Probably one of my favorites was one Christmas morning, getting like it was like a space Lego set that was huge, and putting it together with my brother. My brother was 10 years older than me, and that was very, very special. And listening to Mannheim Steamroller at the same time because it was Christmas, so it's very burnt into my brain.
I could go with a Christmas one. My Christmas one was, was very sociable. I opened my presents, got all the video games. Family comes over. I eat dinner as fast as possible, probably about 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then I go into the corner and play video games for the rest of the day. And then so one day someone complained about it, and my mom was like, hey, that's what she likes to do. Don't try and take away her Christmas spirit.
Hell
So-
yeah, Watts mom.
Yeah.
Watts mom's cool.
She is cool. I met her when she visited.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Man, it's such a hard question.
It is hard.
I guess like I really loved summer as a kid. I think summer is still like my favorite season. I know people are like, oh, it's too hot, whatever. I like it, but just those nights where like you didn't have school the next day or anything like that, and
Yeah.
meet up with your friends. You'd play a bunch of video games, and then sometimes if it was like a weekend, my parents and my friends' parents, we'd all come together. We'd have like a barbecue outside on the back porch. You eat a lot of good food.
Sounds amazing.
You hang out, and then then the sun goes down, and then you play like laser tag and like Nerf in the bushes and stuff like that. I don't know. Those are like the best days.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'd do that now. That sounds amazing.
Sounds like fun.
I did it for like 5 minutes and realized how out of shape I am. Become a camping son of a bitch.
There's that feeling where you're like, as a kid, that you were playing so hard outdoors that like you didn't want to come indoors. Like you were just, it's getting dark and you're like, you haven't eaten all day and you're just like wanting to keep playing.
How many minutes can you stay out while your mom is calling you in?
Right. Like you're waiting for that
Or
third
she's
name.
going to come out and drag you in.
Right.
Usually when I heard her stop calling, it meant she was about to call the cops for a missing child. That's when I would decide.
That's when your time's up.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
the
Like
cops
4 more
come, you
minutes.
gotta go home.
Or she's going to come out and whip my ass.
So a fond childhood memory for me. It's funny how we're referencing like our siblings and stuff like that. So for me, I grew up on a ranch where we grew table grapes, and my closest neighbor was 5 miles away. So for me, my brother and I used to play a lot together with. We had 5 Labradors that would run around, and we would go everywhere. Like we would run off, and our neighbors had grew oranges, and we had another neighbor that grew melons and stuff like that. So you could go all day and never have to go home to eat. You just eat the fruit out in the
Eat off the land.
from the eat off the land. And so we would run around and go fishing up on the reservoir, and there's a huge reservoir that you could run and slide on the mud and slide around, and there was just so I guess for me, just spending the entire day out with my brother and going adventuring with our dogs. It's good times.
That sounds perfect.
Thank you to whoever asked that question. That was nice.
It's a good memory.
That was nice.
Until you get shot by the people who own the land and you just stole their melon.
Yeah, get off my land, you damn
Get off
dogs.
my land. That's my melon.
You know what's great about when you know your neighbor, like when you live in those communities, when you live out in the rural farming communities, everybody knows each other, right? And it's crazy because we would trade lemons, and we had lemons and mandarin or medjool dates and grapes, and you would just trade with your neighbors, and I mean everything that life is a lot simpler, and it's more. I don't know, more wholesome than
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's good. You don't have to worry about, I live in a place now that I can't even really let my son go outdoors, right? I feel like living in the cities and right now, you can't as a parent do what my parents did. I feel like I growing up on a ranch, everybody looked after each other in these communities, and we would just go. We'd take our horses. We had horses, and we'd just jump on our horses and go riding for, all day. And it was crazy. And you just can't do that now.
See, we had this mechanical thing. It wasn't a horse. It was called a bicycle. Yeah, we rode those around all day. There were fields of them. Fields of them grazing everywhere. These bicycles. Mark Hogan asks, if you could remaster any game from any console to modern consoles, what would it be?
Ooh.
Remaster a console? Like any game from any console?
Any game from any console.
Ooh. That's a heavy one.
2 weeks ago, I would have said Shadow of the Colossus, but that one got remastered, so here we are.
Which, by the way, I started playing, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I want to play that.
Super Smash Brothers Melee HD. Done.
With an actual large release of the GameCube controller again, please.
Please and thank you immediately.
Yes. Gonna go with the best Final Fantasy, which is Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay.
Wow. And there's a war that has started in the comment section now. All right.
And you can and I want them to make more cards so I can just play the card game all day. It's called Triple Triad. I downloaded an app on my phone so I can just play Triple Triad.
I'm not joking. There is a question about card games here.
Triple Triad is a great card game.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
God, I don't know. That's a tough one. A lot of great games.
I feel like they've done this, but I wanna. I'd love for I don't know, an open world of a Destiny style open world of Metroid. And I know we've seen
you stop it. Sounds amazing.
I love Metroid.
You know what? Are you going with Metroid Remastered?
I am. I love Metroid, man. I could play that for
the first person shooter one.
Yeah.
Man, I was gonna say that one.
Oh, you were? No, you can go with it, Tefty. We
You can agree.
We can agree.
Be unoriginal.
So many good games, though.
Be unoriginal. Damn it. All right, I'm gonna say that I would love.
You already
I'm gonna change.
You
I'm gonna
already
change.
took that one.
I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change.
You already took that one.
No, I'm gonna give it to you.
Wow.
I want a first-person remaster of Legend of Zelda OG.
OG one.
Mm-hmm.
The NES one, not the Super NES one?
Yes, the original.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd like to be first person, original Zelda map, run around, attacking bushes, stairway, dungeons.
I would like a remaster of Soul Reaver, Legacy of Kain. Did anyone play that?
I did not.
No, it was a PlayStation 1 game.
With the fighting game?
No, it was like a third person story, or third person action. action game. Yeah, it was a really, really good game. But I think that would be a good one. Yeah.
Tefty, you get. I feel like I shortened you here. You know.
No, I'd take the first person Metroids 100%. Those are amazing.
Yeah.
I would definitely play remaster HD, maybe like a VR version. I don't even own any VR equipment, but my God, I would buy VR for that
VR?
game. Yes.
Oh my God. You're right.
It was experience.
I'm going to copy you, Tefty. That was a good idea.
There it is, a VR remaster of Metroid Prime.
There it is.
Reverend Jimmy Love asks, how many times do you fail website captchas before you start to wonder if you really are a robot?
Good question. Never considered that I might be the robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always feel like I'm being outsourced for something.
Right. You're not wrong. Actually, a lot of captchas are used to help determine programs that look at text and then make it into a Word document, so it'll look like a picture of words and then translate it into words. Captchas are used to help train those algorithms.
Nice.
Interesting.
So we are robots.
We're helping robots.
I think
the machine.
humanity itself has been outsourced on the planet Earth for doing something. So we just don't know what.
There you go.
Because we're outsourced.
We'll find out
That's
eventually.
deep, Teft.
That's super deep.
We're all living in a simulation, and the simulation is failing, which is why we fail at captchas. There you go.
Solid.
It's a Vex simulation. Marco Zamora asks, what's your most hated monster to fight in Monster Hunter World? I hate the Diablos with a passion.
Teostra, freaking goddamn.
Toaster?
Listen,
Teostra,
it's a really cute, fluffy cat, okay? It's adorable.
Simba.
But if it's fine when you're playing with people that you know. But when you're playing with randoms who don't know what a flash pod is, or they don't even know how to heal themselves, oh my God.
They don't know how to heal themselves?
Yeah,
no,
well,
I played with people yesterday who they kept their health all the way down.
Wow.
And then just fainted 3 times in a row. It was
Ooh.
fantastic.
Playing on
It
hard
was
mode
great.
there, Watts.
If you play solo, then your Palico will heal you a ton. So they may just never even know that when they're in a group.
Don't play with real people.
So
Don't play with real people unless you're in an actual group with them.
Have you
Yes,
experienced the glitch with Tio?
I have.
So we
which
keep
is
on flashing out of
great.
the sky? Yeah.
Oh yeah, which is great when people have flash pods.
When they know. When they've been farming
But-
flash bugs, yeah.
Oh yeah, these people, they don't even know what a flash bug is. They don't know what a flash bug is. I don't think they've ever seen one.
They probably haven't leveled up their farm.
It's disgusting.
They did, yeah.
It makes me want to type out a
It makes
really
me
toxic
sick.
message.
I was probably around hour 30 or so until I realized that flash bugs were extremely important and I could also farm them
so good.
in the farm continuously. Now I've got over 400 and I'm nervous about it going down. I need to make sure I have plenty of flash pods on me.
Oh, it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Because those dragons, those elder dragons, it's not like they get immune to it. Just keep flashing them.
Apparently, supposedly there is a
Flash.
mechanic where they will get
Apparently
immune.
there is.
Yeah, but
I haven't seen it.
I think what it is they'll get flashed out of the sky, but their time of being on the floor gets decreased every time they get flashed.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes
Because
sense.
eventually Tio would just be like, somebody flash me. I'm out of here.
So flash me. I'm going.
Somebody flash me. I'm out of here. Yeah. It's great. I think for me,
I will agree, Teostra.
Yeah?
Just to, no. I don't know. I play as a bow user, so I can get away from the ult, but it's really annoying, and I don't like one-shot mechanics in fights.
Yeah, it is annoying at times. I think for me, Xeno, because it's such a long fight to get a few parts.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
it is very long.
It's just I need these horns, but God, the Xeno fight takes forever.
You know how you guys are in other video games, you play against a boss and it feels like you just spent 30 minutes or something fighting a boss when it's been actually 2 to 3 minutes. You were fully concentrated that entire time and it was really touch and go. Okay, Xeno is like that, but it is 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And also, he's massive, and you swing your sword, and somehow the hitbox is you were an inch away. I'm sorry.
You're trying to cut his toes.
For a melee player, for a melee player, for a melee player, that fight has to be annoying as hell because you just like hit on his legs the entire time. That's all you can do.
And then it goes like this. And immediately moves all those spots. I'm like, come on, stay in one spot.
Mm-hmm. And Pope and Fallout, you guys play Monster Hunter?
Yeah. It's not the strongest monster, but I have like a personal history with the Rathalos. I'm gonna say Rathalos.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Rathalos is kind of an asshole.
Oh, he's an asshole, all right.
Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is your most feared monster? Pope.
My most feared monster that I hate fighting.
Be real meta and say my favorite. I hate fighting against my fellow man or something.
No, I mean it's honestly the Jackalopaso.
The basic bitch monster that you kill to get meat.
The Jackalopasaurus.
Yeah, no, that one's pretty tough.
That's coming in DLC, but I'm impressed that you've already fought it.
I'm playing the the developers build right now. We're actually helping to play test.
Oh.
See, I'm above you guys in that. I've already done Monster Hunter, and I'm actually on to the next Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
What's your HR? What's your HR?
Well, it's 300.
It doesn't really matter. You can like
set
it to
300.
If you're above everybody, that's it.
I don't. It's 300.
If we're talking about Monster Hunter, I want to know how you guys are feeling about getting the pickle added to the game. It's a new monster.
The Devil Joe guy?
Yes. He's also known as the pickle.
Okay.
Coming in spring.
This is my first Monster Hunter, so I've never played it. Never seen it or anything.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
All I see in the comments section about that monster is all of you noobs, I hope you're ready. I'm like, oh.
Cool.
Sounds spooky.
I'm excited about a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to fear the pickle.
The pickle.
You gonna share that, Pope? What's good, buddy?
Yeah, I'm really hungry.
Just have some ice cream delivered to you.
Yeah.
Did you just Uber Eats an ice cream?
Yeah.
No, it's called being married to the most wonderful woman in the entire world.
Yeah.
Well, my
Valentine's
husband's
Day was
playing
yesterday,
Monster
Pope.
Hunter.
Is she in the room with you right now, Pope? Blink at the camera twice.
All right.
Honestly, I haven't touched Monster Hunter. I haven't played it. I really enjoy it's been stupid funny how I'm entertained by watching like Tefty and you guys stream it. Like I don't know anything about it, and I can sit there and hang out and watch it. It's entertaining. I'm sure it'd be a lot more fun if I jumped in and learned how to play it. But to be honest with you, the amount of time I have, it looks like it's very grindy, and I don't even want to. I don't even want to engage myself in a game like that because I just don't have the time to play it. So, but it's fun to watch you guys play it, and you know, when you start talking about it, I have absolutely no idea what you're saying. But it does sound like it's fun.
Oh man, when you pull out that hammer, you start uppercutting with the hammer on monsters. Oh
yeah.
Get some nice sweet chin music against them, and they go out.
Such a good game.
Oh.
Let's see. Ollie asks, there's a push for esports to be a part of the Olympics. What are your opinions on that?
I'm going to just step out there and say, while I respect esports and I enjoy it very much, I think it's extremely entertaining. I do not feel like it is appropriate for the Olympic Games.
Agreed. Okay. I think it's just the Olympics are what they are. They're been around forever. They're great, entertaining, but it's like a different world. It's a different world. And I think esports can be big and huge and amazing, and it's growing nonstop, and it can be its own thing. And esports is a whole new world. Just keep it that way.
Yeah. I don't even think that esports needs to be in the Olympics.
It doesn't need the Olympics.
No, it doesn't.
It's doing great by itself. It's making a whole new thing. It's its own thing, and it's making its own path. I don't think it needs to.
I mean, we'll make our own esports Olympics.
There you go, the esports Olympics.
One without the corruption, and we can probably keep the performance enhancing drugs. That would be pretty sweet.
I mean, Adderall is like
keep the drugs. We gotta keep the drugs.
Keep the drugs.
Right, lots of them.
Yeah, you were required.
Yeah, juicing is actually required in this Olympics.
Skateboarding isn't even there yet until like 2020. So before they start even considering something like esports, like it needs to go a long ways before anything like that could be taken serious.
Other countries need to get to Korea's level before we can think about it.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, though, it gets to a point where, and people in chat are talking about it too, but the Olympics was originally designed as a way of, peacefully demonstrating the athletic prowess or of soldiers, right? To a way of peacefully competing without going to war, right? And I think it's physical activity of it should be the calibration of it. The litmus test should be, is it a physically active?
You don't think
What if-
key presses and moving my mouse is physical?
Look, if people
What if
think
it was VR though? VR esports.
VR
Huh?
sports.
VR though.
Very physical.
Wii Sports
Wii
in the
Sports.
Olympics,
Oh,
let's
I
go.
love it.
Okay, so the only way that I would possibly see this is if it was flight simulators. Because there is a hell of a pull right now in the military for drone pilots. So if you wanted to keep the theme of sports, military directed sports, I guess maybe flight simulators or World of Tanks.
Did you know what the first ever Olympic sport was? It's true. It was actually who could blow more smoke up another guy's ass.
Really?
It's true.
I had no idea.
Go to Wikipedia, you can look that
billow
up.
reps and
Yeah,
compression?
there you go.
You had to have real strong lungs, Tefty.
Yeah, and the thing is, the thing is, the people that were like blowing the smoke up were also the ones that had smoke blown up their ass too. So it was like a double competitive thing. You had to like
Double competitive,
you
like
had to,
passing
like,
the
make
baton,
sure-
but the
Double
smoke
jeopardy.
has the
Well,
smoke.
no. It was like a competition thing. It was Russia would be blowing smoke up, fucking Spain's ass in this event. So then there's like this double thing going where each competitor had to get really good at blowing smoke up each other's ass, but they also had to make sure that they had not a large capacity for smoke being blown up their asses too. It wasn't just like
'Cause you
fucking
gotta take
doing
a lot of
reps.
smoke, right?
It wasn't
was
just
really
doing reps.
endurance.
Flex.
Really deep meta. Very deep meta.
Yeah, endurance.
So deep. It put his. Never mind.
Yeah. And I will say on an note to people that think esports has no physical element to it, I can guarantee you everyone's been gaming for quite a while, and you've had a gaming session that lasted 36, 48, so many hours that, it got to the point where there was a physical exertion thing going on. World of Warcraft, man, yeah, just...
Your body feels, pretty exhausted after that kind of a session.
Yeah, I forgot. I don't know if I forgot, but at one point I was aware I hadn't ate and it just didn't matter. So then, you just keep going, and that's a proper training regime. You're cutting weight so then you can get more efficient and pressing your keys.
Some people...
Can you just get really fat so then you don't need to eat? So your body can just eat its own body fat?
Yeah, well, you can start out like that.
The motive.
I think that's a really good opportunity if I was Breyer to move on to another question.
So Thomas Pierre asks, I always hear Patrick talking about his precious Magic cards.
Oh boy.
What is everyone else's favorite card game? Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Hearthstone, poker?
Ooh, I know.
Besides Triple Triad, I will say Hearthstone. I've spent a lot of money on that game. It's a problem.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
I would say that I could spend obscene amounts of time and energy playing Texas Hold'em.
Okay.
I love tournament style poker. I love the concept of having a room of 100 people, 200 people, and winning your table and making it to the final table and that competition and that of reading your opponent. I love Texas Hold'em.
Last time I played an actual card game.
Is it Gwent, Tefty?
Well, is it physical or?
It doesn't have to be.
No?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Well,
this isn't the Olympics.
Last time there was Hearthstone, and that was fun. But the game I actually, when I was a kid, I really, really enjoyed Magic the Gathering. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody needs to clip that.
What
we
is
need to
happening?
have that as a clip for the
I
future.
played, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something
All
tells me
right.
he might still enjoy it.
I probably would. And that's why I'm like resistant.
Are you a closet Magic?
Definitely
player?
not.
He's just going to
I
show
would
up to
admit
the
it.
GP.
You're not going to say that, right? Of course you're going to say that. Of course, definitely not.
No, I am an open book on this. If I had Magic cards laying around, I'd be like, "Yo, Pat, check out my cards, man."
I'm gonna mail you
Testy,
some. I'm
when's
gonna
the last-
mail you some Magic cards.
When's the last time you cracked a pack?
Oh, a long time
Yeah.
ago. Last
Come on.
last one.
Be
See, this is a
honest,
while
boss.
ago. Do you remember the Homelands expansion?
No.
Yeah, that expansion was so bad. All the designers of it were brought into a room because it had just come after Fallen Empires, I believe, and they were like, "If you guys do this again, you're fired. Two, the company's not going to exist anymore because holy shit, this is bad."
So that was the
Testy,
last
but
time I cracked a pack.
Imagine if you could shame people with your Magic cards.
Yeah.
That's
Now
a
we're
whole
talking.
new world of shaming.
We are absolutely talking, and that gets me excited. MTG shaming?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You're on a whole nother level right now.
I legitimately have like two boxes of Magic cards from back then. And I don't know where they're at.
If you ever find them, take pictures of them. Take pictures of all of them because you might legitimately have some expensive stuff there.
True.
Might.
Yeah.
You buy yourself a new graphics card.
Mm-hmm.
2080,
Yeah.
GTX 2080.
You could be sitting on a nerd treasure chest and you wouldn't even know it.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
You know a card game called Asshole? That's kind of the only card game I play. Do you know that game? Asshole? No.
No.
It's a great game, dude.
I'm just curious why everything you've been referencing tonight is butthole related.
Yeah,
It is very
why am I talking
butthole
so
related.
There is a theme
Fun.
so far of your comments tonight. I just.
Butts on the mind, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, to be fair, Patrick started the whole smoke butt thing. All right. I'm
Yeah,
providing-
I just
Technically,
provided
it was
the catalyst
Pope
for the
there.
one.
I don't think I. No.
Pope brought it up.
I-
Holtz educated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I was talking about butts in particular.
But aren't you always?
Specifically the asshole.
That's true.
Aren't you
Don't make me the butt of your jokes, Testy.
Okay.
in heaven?
Last question. Last question here. Shadow Hunter asks, Cheez-Its or Goldfish?
Cheez-Its.
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 When I could have them, I would eat goldfish because they came in a carton. I love the carton. And I could be like, cook.
Mm-hmm.
The delivery mechanism was superb.
I agree. That box is nice.
Yeah.
There's a top tier delivery.
Now, are we
Yeah.
talking about OG Cheez-Its and OG?
Nope. Doesn't
Goldfish?
specify. Question does not
Whatever you
specify.
want.
Because if we're talking about like second gen snacks, Goldfish has superior versions of their goldfish than Cheez-Its. Goldfish come in some ridiculous options.
So you're gonna change your answer?
blasted.
Pizza blasted.
Pizza blasted.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza
I'm
blasted.
telling you.
What?
Yeah.
Does that
Pizza flavor
somebody
blasted
Mama
goldfish.
Bird's pizza and then spits it all over the goldfish?
No, it's blasted. It's like the blowing smoke up the ass,
Yeah.
but
Like a
it's
fire
just
hose?
it's all pizza flavoring and then it just blasts.
So somebody takes a pizza from Domino's, blends it with the Vitamix, pours in the hose, and then
And then you pump it out.
Yeah.
that
Wow.
sounds like
Goldfish
a
also
profitable
has-
business.
Goldfish has extra cheddar. And I don't mean like extra. It's literally they spell it extra cheddar.
yeah, it's not
You know that it's
it's not
extreme.
0.04% extra. It's it's extra.
No, sir.
I'm going with goldfish. Going with goldfish in both states. Both.
Can we do
Original.
one more question by Sketch?
Sure.
Just to end it. Like, I thought it was an interesting one. What's your favorite get to know you question? All right. For example, this Sketch 256 says, "Mine is what's your favorite cereal? Nobody expects it. It leads into pretty delightful conversation with new acquaintances."
Mine is, have you ever heard the origin story of blowing smoke up someone's ass?
I mean, that's your
That
intro.
sounds like a
That's your
pickup
go-to.
line, honestly.
That's my new go-to cocktail line.
Yeah. So, baby, have you ever heard?
Hey,
I don't know.
baby, have you heard about the origin story of that?
Yeah.
Blowing smoke up.
Usually I tell them about my elo.
Can I show you?
I just start talking about like ask them questions about hey, have you ever Titan skated, baby? You know, that's how I met my wife. I was talking about Destiny, and no, it's not true.
I don't meet random people, so
Random people are hard.
I don't have an opportunity to really.
The only random people you meet are for like League of Legends matchmaking.
Yeah, and that's
and the only question you ask there
yourself.
is like, why do you suck so much?
Why are you playing ranked? Go back to normal.
Yeah, the real questions should be what are the most common questions asked in in chats, in competitive games.
Competitive. Games.
Why do you
can
suck
anyone
so
go
bad?
healer?
Why are you playing Destiny?
Anyone go healer?
Why are you playing Destiny?
Why are you playing this dead game?
Is this game dead?
Yeah. There you
Why are you playing a dead game?
People still play this?
Oh, people still play this. That's my favorite one.
That's a good one.
What's your favorite Destiny put down comment in YouTube and Twitter?
I stopped reading comments.
Yeah, me too.
A long time ago.
But that's not to say if you're listening right now, make sure you put your comment down below. It means a lot to us. We read them.
We read them all. Promise.
Promise.
But if I had to give a
reading, it's I stopped, kind of caring about a lot of them because there's so much bullshit there that it's hard to get through.
Well, I wanted to do one more shout out to Big Fletch for his intro to the podcast.
Yeah, it was very cool.
It was really cool to hear him in the work he did. I know he had a friend that helped him put those together and did the mixes of them. Really think it was fun to have that be a part of the show. We might have him, that might be something we pull back out again, or open it up to others to get to do an intro for us. There's tons of artists out there that maybe want to have us play their stuff. So just make sure to hit us up. My DMs are always open. Which, by the way, they're open, but I can't respond to everybody. I do try to read all of them. But I do get a lot of them, and I really want to
Pope, what gets
point out
you
that
a
if I
guaranteed
didn't-
response?
Yeah, I can't.
Nudes?
I really want you guys to know that I'm not ignoring you. I try to read as much as I can, and I respond to some.
Butthole smoke is what gets you a guarantee.
But if you talk about butthole smoke,
Open it.
I
Butthole
might
vaping?
respond.
oh my god.
Butthole
Kids,
vaping?
You've heard of the Tide Challenge.
Oh god.
But have
Get
you
ready.
done Butthole vaping?
Get ready.
Guaranteed
How does that
response
happen?
from Pope
Does
Bear.
somebody have to take a rip from a vape? Then
I have no idea. I'm just,
So, everyone, thanks for tuning in to the 72nd episode of the Destiny Community Podcast. You want to find more of me? I'm at Holtzmann_YT on Twitter, and you can find me discussing the fun phrases like
stuff.
Stuff.
yeah.
Stuff.
Is that
Butt
what
stuff.
Is it my turn now since Briar's gone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Tefty Teft. You can
weird.
talk to me at Teft on Twitter.com/Teft. My streams, twitch.tv/Tefty Teft. I typically start around 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I do have a YouTube channel that's been getting more Twitch stream uploads. Who knows how long it'll last? We'll see. Who knows?
I'm Miss 5000 Watts. You can catch me and my cat, usually a lot, on twitch.tv/Miss 5000 Watts and YouTube and Twitter. Same name.
Go ahead, follow.
Yeah, YouTube and Twitch, FalloutPlays. Just Google FalloutPlays. I promise you, you will find me. Come on into the Twitch when I'm playing live. I promise I will talk to you in chat. We'll have a good time.
I can confirm that every time I go in there and talk about butt stuff, he always responds. So when you go in there, and just so he knows it's from the podcast, make sure to talk about butt stuff. Butthole vape nation. Hashtag. That's how Fallout will know how you've met. And that's important. This has been Pope Bear. You can find me on Twitter at Pope Bear. Make sure you follow the podcast at DestinyConPod. We do, we obviously announce what our guests that are coming up and what's going on with the podcast, but we also do an occasional giveaway. So if you're interested, we're going to do that off recording. So just as we finish this recording, we'll be announcing the winner. But if you won, I will message you on Twitter in the DMs.
Twitter.
The Twitter.
All right. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this week. Next week, Pope, who do we have on the podcast? I know it's
Next week, we have Jack from Rooster Teeth.
Yes.
It's actually something I'm really excited to. He's been a, somebody that I've been really look up to, and someone that I followed for a really long time from the Halo days. Rooster Teeth is one of those content creators that started off as just a bunch of guys making machinima and became something huge. So I really have a lot to talk to him about, and I'm really excited for that interview. I'm really appreciative that he's coming on our show, and I'm excited. So don't miss it. It's going to be next week. But and so remember, like, when you're reading this right now, make sure to rate us on iTunes and talk on the YouTube comments. It all helps us. We're doing great right now, and you guys are in many ways during this drought of Destiny content. You're really helping us keep us afloat. And I wanted to tell you that our numbers of people listening and our fan base are strong, and they're holding as if this was regular. And I know a lot of you guys aren't playing, and I'm talking to you, the people that are playing Monster Hunter and are playing Division and are playing Fortnite and all these other games, but still come back every week to listen and see what's going on. I really appreciate it, and thank you.
Yep.
It means a lot.
Well said.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. We will
Thank
see
you
you all
guys.
next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
All right. You get to stop recording.